College football's best player wear green. With lightning speed, he's one of the fastest. At 6'5", he's one of the biggest. Add his big playability, and Randy Moss might be college football's best. His highlight film season includes 22 touchdowns on 83 catches. His next challenge, lead Marshall to a MAC championship. Tonight, the Toledo Rockets try to stop a legend, and Randy Moss is on center stage. Marshall University Stadium, better known as Randy Moss's own personal playland, site of the MAC championship, the Rockets of Toledo, the Thundering Herd of Marshall. Weather report, grim and getting grimmer. 29 degrees, wind chill at 18. That might not even slow down Mr. Moss. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Christensen. Welcome to Huntington. Randy Moss is going to New York. He's one of the finalists for the Heisman Trophy. And Todd, with all the hype that goes into that award, you don't need any of that for Mr. Moss.
You really don't, and I think the plain truth is that he has lived up and beyond the hype. Tremendous, tremendous athlete. Last year, 28 touchdown receptions. This year, despite the naysayers who said he couldn't do it at the 1A level, 22 more touchdown receptions. He is absolutely outstanding. The best wide receiver in college football, but he is not alone. The Thundering Herd have many people that can participate on the offensive side of the ball, as you can see right there. Look for Chad Pennington, who with 2 more touchdown passes can be a record setter this year, the most by a sophomore quarterback in the history of the NCAA.
So Moss kind of overshadows his own teammates, and I think everybody else in the MAC conference. Don't forget about Toledo. Good ball club. They beat Purdue, and they have maybe the best coach you've never heard of, Gary Pinkel.
And Gary Pinkel has had 59 victories in the MAC conference in the 90s, the most by any coach in that particular conference. He has been outstanding, and look for his name to be bandied about at some of the 1A vacancies throughout the nation. But the man who is on the spot this evening is Clarence Love, their cornerback. He is their best cover guy, an all-MAC conference performer. He is on the spot 2 ways. One, it's a bad thing if he gets burned by Moss, but he could really raise his stock if he's able to shut down the big man tonight.
On the other side of the ball for the Toledo Rockets, they have some weapons, and one very important weapon is back tonight. For that, we go down to the field, the very chilly field. Third member of our broadcast team, Chris Marlowe.
Well, of course, the other key player for Toledo is their great running back. His name is Dwayne Harris, and when he is healthy, he is one of the best running backs in the MAC. However, he hasn't played in a MAC game since November 8th when he injured his ankle against Ball State. Now, what about the Toledo Rockets with Harris and without Harris? With Harris, they are a great team. They average 150 more yards per game. They score 15 more points, and they are undefeated. Without him, yuck, it is a different story. So Harris is going to get the start tonight. He will be wearing an air cast on his ankle, and if he can get over 100 yards, the Toledo Rockets, I think, have a great chance to win this game. Back to you, Rich.
Thanks, Chris. It's the Toledo Rockets, the Thundering Herd of Marshall, the MAC championship. Oh, by the way, did I mention Randy Moss? It's next on The Deuce.
Mark, if you're at the airport before my 8 o'clock flight, maybe we can talk. Otherwise, it's over.
Ah! Come on. Come on. Oh, start. Oh, no. That battery.
No matter what my customers drive, they depend on AC Delco batteries. They last up to 30% longer.
I'm sure they do. Just give me the generic equivalent, okay?
AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Why is America on America Online?
It puts the whole internet right at my fingertips.
You can send instant messages just like that.
The news is breaking. I've got it now.
I can stay a little closer to my family.
You've got mail. America Online. Easy to use. Friendly menus.
Put in the disk, click, you're online.
And we've been working night and day to more than double capacity and make it even easier.
I got homework help, and my dad thinks I'm a genius.
America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
Kickoff coming up in the first MAC title game. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit. If you're wondering, Marshall's handled that snowy and clement weather very well last year in the 1AA playoffs.
And Marshall's pass defense has given up only 6 touchdown passes all year. They should be able to control the Toledo passing. Weather, home field advantage. I like Marshall.
You know, Todd Christensen pointed this out. Everybody talks quite a bit about Randy Moss and what he's able to do with this Marshall offense. keep in mind they have great balance. If you look at Doug Chapman and Lowe Turner, they combined for over 1,500 yards on the year. So that balance attack of the Thundering Herd, to me, I think is too much. I think Marshall wins.
Yep.
And the guy who says he's going for the shutdown against Randy Moss, Clarence Love, Courtney Love, Christy Love, Bob Love, whoever it is, very tough job. Let's go back to Rich, Todd, and Chris in Huntington, West Virginia. Guys?
Better known as the Winter Wonderland, Huntington, West Virginia. The snow continues to fall. They cleared the field about a half an hour before kickoff, but the snow is back. The Toledo Rockets won the toss and deferred, and so Randy Moss and the Thundering Herd of Marshall will get the first possession of this football game. Chris Merrick is on to kick for the Rockets of Toledo. Both teams finishing at 9-2. Both teams at 7-1. Marshall won the East, Toledo the West. Maurice Hines deep for the Thundering Herd in their first season of Division I football, up from 1AA where they won the national championship on this field last year. And a line drive kick. We're underway. Out to the 30-yard line, and that's where the Thundering Herd will put it in play. An explosive offense. Chad Pennington, the trigger man, started as a freshman, redshirted last year, great year this year. 36 touchdowns, one short of the NCAA lead this year. His wide receivers, we told you about Randy Moss. Up front, good protection for Pennington. Only 19 sacks given up. John Wade, the smartest and the best offensive lineman. That says Bob Pruitt, the head coach of the Thundering Herd. And a look at Moss, who has a touchdown catch in all 26 of the games he has played at Marshall. Pennington to the air. Going deep, going for him right away. And it's incomplete. And the footing along the sideline a little treacherous.
Hook and go. They decided to go with the double team. The linebacker comes out from his position to deny. You're going to see right here, he's going to deny the hook area. There's the hook and go. He spins and goes. Love is with him, stride for stride. Does a great job there with the left hand, warding him off. The ball was uncatchable. Good coverage there by Toledo.
Todd, you look at the field conditions right now. It looks like with this new blanket of snow, it's a bit slippery out there.
Well, it certainly is, but people mistake the idea that this is a disadvantage for the offense. It is not. Offensive people know where they're going. The passing game can go to new heights here if they can take advantage of defensive slippage.
Marshall threw for 306 yards this year. This one's going nowhere. Flags are down as Pennington had to fall on the football.
Looks like he drew a couple of people off sides. The point that I was trying to make with regards to that is one that Bud Grant made years ago after the years that he had coaching in Winnipeg, as you see offsides against Toledo. His theory was that before the field got too bad that he wanted to take advantage of it because his receivers knew where they were headed. And one slip means a touchdown in the secondary. So he threw early and often in inclement weather.
It cost Toledo 5 yards on the offsides. And so the Thundering Herd looking at second down and 5. Both teams have played in this weather. Toledo had a snowy game at Akron this year.
One of the things that they're trying to do here is with a 3 wide receiver set, they're trying to isolate Moss on one side, the wide side of the field. And that's what they've done again as they did on first down here.
A draw to Doug Chapman, and Chapman breaks loose. Out across the 45 to the 47-yard line. First down, Marshall. Defensively, Toledo, 3rd overall in the MAC. This is a pretty good defense. Jason Richards up front, the best pass rusher. 5 sacks, first-team MAC pick. Linebacking quartet, Marcus Matthews very active. 4 sacks from his outside linebacking spot. And a secondary that right now is just a trio. You'll see more nickelbacks as it goes, and we told you about the matchup. Clarence Love, first-team MAC pick, and the man in the spotlight along with Randy Moss.
Now they're trying to do something different. Now they have Moss on the 2 wide receiver side, knowing that he's going to get man for man.
Chapman off the left side, spun off his feet at the 50-yard line. Rasheed Sumter up to make the stop.
Well, one of the things that's happening with regards to as they spread things out is that is here. Now look at the people that are in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. When you have 7 in the box, that affords the opportunity to run, and that's what Marshall is trying to do. Yeah, that's one of the problems that is presented with an athlete of Moss's stature. Even though that you might take him out of the game, there are other people that can take advantage.
And Bob Pruitt said that this week. Until we see 8 in the box, we're going to run the football. 2nd and 6. Opening drive, MAC championship. And it's Chapman again trying to pick his way inside Toledo territory. It's a gain of about 2.
Interesting here, too, the decision here, 3rd and about 3. They've had some holes there. Chapman took a little bit too long to pick his hole, or he might have had the first down. Wide side of the field is going to be left. It'll be interesting to see if they go with something underneath, if they have the confidence in Pennington's footing at this point, because obviously he's just not sure of himself.
You saw Matt Valent, leading tackler for this Toledo team. 3rd down 3. Pennington to the air. Moss with first catch. And it's a first down for the Thundering Herd inside the 30.
One of the things that happened once again, they go with the 4 wide receiver set, and to the left of the 3 wide receivers, they have Moss isolated man for man, asking an awful lot of Love to cover him on the slant route. You can see 1, 2, 3, plant and go. It's the basic slant route. The ball is right there. Difficult pass for Love to defend.
It's like trying to defend Randy Moss on skates for Clarence Love right now. Marshall just inside the Toledo 30 at about the 28-yard line. 1st and 10. Opening drive. In motion, Lavorne Coldclaw. And it's Chapman trying to bounce it out. He's out of bounds at the 26-yard line of Toledo. Doug Chapman, 88 yards per game. 9 touchdowns. They'll throw to him as well. There are a lot of weapons. I would expect Tim Nunez, the offensive coordinator, does not have enough footballs to keep everybody happy on this Marshall team.
Well, Doug Chapman was someone coming into this game who'd had 5 of the last 6 games of 100-yard games. He's somebody that certainly would have gone over 1,000 had he been completely healthy, but he's missed the bulk of 3 games, and as a result, the passing game has been able to flourish for Marshall.
2nd down and 7. Ball at the Toledo 26. Do not adjust your sets. A lot of snow here in Huntington. Pennington to the air for Moss. And Love breaks it up. It's incomplete.
Good coverage on the part of Love. You could see that it was an audible going to the fade route. Love was not fooled, with him stride for stride.
And a flag down on the play as well. Offsides. Todd, we talk about traction in the defensive backfield. I would expect in the defensive line that could be a problem as well.
Offside.
Well, it can be.
The 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
One of the things that's interesting here is I'm not sure that it wasn't Clarence Love that wasn't offsides in that particular situation. He was so close to Moss. You can see right there, right on top of him. Great coverage, and there the flag comes out with him stride for stride. Turns and looks, does a great job.
Chapman around the left side. He breaks loose. He's 10. He dives, and he's out of bounds. At the 3-yard line, Doug Chapman, the sophomore. A nice ball fake by Chad Pennington. And Doug Chapman right on the doorstep.
Rich, one of the advantages you have with big wide receiver, 6'3", 209, and 6'5", 210, is that you have some people that can block downfield. Good misdirection on the part of Moss, and that fools Toledo. Coldclaw with a good block, enabling Chapman to get to the outside and get just inside the 5.
At the 2-yard line, a 3 tight end set. Chapman again. And this time he's stuffed. Kelly Herndon from his corner position made the play.
And that's really costly now, because that's going to put them back into a position to where they might have to throw the ball, go play action here. And sure enough, Coldclaw is coming in. One of the tight ends are going to come out. I never understand, Rich, one of the reasons why the offenses have a tendency to jam things in. They go with the 2 or 3 tight end. Well, what does that mean? The defense is going to do the same thing. If you got 3 wide receivers, the very thing that they want, 6 or 7 in the box, that's all they can do. And they've been running so effectively with the 3 wide receiver set. Why not stay with it?
Moss 1 catch on this drive. From the 5-yard line, 2nd and goal. Pennington to the end zone, and he overthrows Coldclaw. 3rd down and goal from the 5.
But once again, they were not fooled. Colclough comes in to play the tight end position, and he's triple teamed. He did a great job there in coverage by Toledo. Here's Colclough down here. Moss is at the top thinking that that's where they're headed. Well, from the slot position, he runs the out. Toledo's completely unfooled. See all the white shirts around him. Good defense.
Toledo, not an easy team to run against. 2nd in the conference, just 129 yards per game. And Marshall on 3rd and goal from the 5, probably going to put it up. Pennington to the end zone. Caught. No. Incomplete. Gerald Long couldn't hold it.
I'm very surprised on that particular play because they had Moss isolated man for man on the other side of the field. I thought they were going to throw a jump ball. Instead, they go with kind of a short post route. You can see the ball is bobbled there. He did not have control before he went out of bounds in the back of the end zone. And now the field goal team.
And this is something that rarely has occurred this year. Only the 7th field goal attempted by Marshall. Billy Malasevich, only 2 for 6 this year, and he makes it. Just the 3rd successful field goal attempt all year long. The Thundering Herd on the board. They lead Toledo in the MAC championship.
Just hold this and you know you're going to get a close shave.
Remington introduces the new shave in shaving.
The angle to the face, just right.
Can't believe I'm in love with an electric. But look at this shave.
Remington's new dual microscreen, built to shave incredibly close.
And they guarantee it.
We asked some of Hollywood's hottest stuntmen to try Degree.
What's body heat activate?
As your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection when you need it most.
I heated up, and it cooled me down.
I was on fire, and I was dry.
Body heat activated Degree. Your body heat turns it on.
Roger, is it true right before you die, your life passes before your eyes?
That's what they say, mate.
Mine's passing now. I see a beer, a blooming onion, a big juicy steak, and my sweetheart.
Sweetheart, you're not dying, you're dreaming.
For the meal of your life, get to Outback Steakhouse.
Toldeo number 12 from Leatherman. Leatherman, one tool, a couple thousand uses.
ESPN's presentation of the 1997 Mid-America Conference Football Championship is brought to you by Acura, the true definition of luxury. Yours.
Rich Waltz, Todd Christensen, Chris Marlowe. Marshall University Stadium, where the Thundering Herd on the board first. A 3-0 lead.
Oh, the weather outside is right for the divide. Isn't this what this looks like?
Yeah.
I mean, if you just tuned in and saw this.
You kind of get that feeling, don't you?
I'm roasting the chestnuts, enjoying the heck out of it.
All you need are some lights along the sidelines.
You didn't follow that up with a let it snow, let it snow. Okay.
Got to let the picture tell the story sometimes. It's Romaine Davis. And Davis is out across the 25 to the 29-yard line. The Toledo 29-yard line. Sunday at 4 o'clock. Where's everyone going this postseason? Well, you'll find out. The College Football Alliance Selection Special. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit. They'll bring you all the matchups. There's going to be some disappointed people, I expect. It's almost getting to be like the NCAA basketball tournament selection show. Now the Rockets with their first possession. They have a wonderful quarterback in Chris Wallace. One of the great stories in college football. And it's back to Wallace. Man wide open. It's Kreitzberg with a catch. He's to the 30, and Kreitzberg is inside the 25 to the 22-yard line.
Larry Moore, the cornerback, was not fooled by that, but the exact same thing that happened that we talked about is what occurred. Moore ends up falling down. Watch the right of your picture. They're going to go with all the movement, and you're going to see right here. See him fall down right there, and that enables Kreitzberg to be wide open. Give him credit that he's able to bounce up. Take a look. He's going to look in the backfield. He's not fooled. He's backpedaling. He knows what's happened. Now when he turns to run, and I've said this before, when you turn to your left, you've got to go off the opposite foot. Instead, he tries to cut off the left foot. He slips and falls. Big play for the Rockets.
From the 25-yard line, Dwayne Harris, sore ankle and all, in the ball game, and he's down to about the 26-yard line. Larry McLeod made the stop. Chris Wallace, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He was not the first-team quarterback in the MAC. That was Chad Pennington. And he's got a lot of weapons. One of them is back after an ankle sprain after a 3-week absence. A good tight end in Mike Billick. He'll throw to him. Offensive line, just 22 sacks this year. Jim Bates. It's a very balanced offensive line. Gary Pinkel says he'll run right, left, and up the middle. Second down, 9. Ball at the 24-yard line of Marshall. Toledo's first possession. Wallace's throw. Mel Long with the catch. Long down to the 15, and I think he has the first down. And there'll be a lot of speculation tonight in terms of yard lines and measurements.
Ends up breaking a tackle that enables him to get the first down. The defensive backs are very tentative, about 8 yards off. Watch the catch and look how long it takes for Moore to come into the screen. Took a long time. Long breaks the tackle, gets the necessary yardage. If people think that just because of the snow it's going to inhibit these passers, they're very much mistaken. Both of these quarterbacks are going to put the ball up.
A 9-yard pickup. Marshall scoring on their first possession. The Rockets of Toledo, who struggled near the end of their regular season, losing 2 of their final 3 games. From the 15-yard line, this is Harris. They did not have Harris for those 3 games, and Harris a gain of about 3. Defensively, Marshall tough. Second best scoring defense. B.J. Cohn, 11 sacks. The senior out of Conley, Georgia, 25 sacks for this defensive unit. A trio of linebackers. The most active is John Grace. 5 sacks, 2 interceptions. He took 1 of them back for a touchdown. And a secondary that had 14 interceptions. Best cover man, Larry Moore.
For being the best cover man, he sure has been getting picked on early.
Second down and 8 from the 11. And Dwayne Harris goes nowhere. Girardi Mercer with the hit along with Larry McLeod.
Textbook. That's what they love to see when you're a defensive lineman or a linebacker. When the feet come up and he lands right on his back. Number of green shirts. Look at that. Right at his back. Boy, that's an outstanding play. Good penetration on the part of Mercer. An outstanding nose guard from the D.C. area.
The Marshall defense threw 2 shutouts to end the season. They shut out Bowling Green and Ohio. Toledo trying to get on the board. Third down, 9. From the Marshall 12, Wallace. A good scrambler, but he's going down. B.J. Cohen, his 12th sack of the season.
And this is a big sack in a lot of ways. Certainly the lost yardage, and you could see the tiptoeing that both the quarterback and the guys rushing him were going after. But now you're looking at a field goal of beyond 40 yards in these inclement conditions. That is not a good percentage play. Give Cohen credit with his persistence now, an even dozen sacks for him on the season.
The ball is sitting at the 23-yard line. It would be a 40-yard field goal. Hey, Chris Merritt.
Hey, I just realized something. Where's the guy from New England? Remember that, who came out with the Zamboni?
I think he's still incarcerated.
Oh, okay. Well, then he can't help.
He was out on parole when he did it.
Difficult conditions to kick when the ball is in the snow. Less ball to kick. The elevation isn't the same.
Merrick, 1 of 5. He won't even get a chance to kick this one. That's a lateral. The ball is still alive.
I can't believe he wasn't down. But the officials didn't call it, so it's going to be Marshall ball at about the 37-yard line, Rich.
Gary Pinkel watching his special teams blow up. Todd Riddle, the holder, never got a hold of it.
Well, let's see. Jason Richards' snap. It's actually pretty good, but once it hits the ground, it scoots through the snow. Now, take a look here as he goes to, or we're not going to get a chance to see him go to his right. Now watch, it appeared right there that he might have been down, but instead it's a backward lateral, as you pointed out. And so the recovery is made, but it's going to be Marshall football when we come back. Still up 3-zip.
Every species has its own method of transporting its young. Some means of getting offspring from one place to another. Safely, comfortably, and reliably. And human beings are no exception. The Land Rover Discovery, far superior to carrying your children in your mouth.
I had no idea of playing baseball for a living because all the people I saw playing was white. That's Oscar Johnson.
Okay, put Oscar in this column.
All right.
Now you have a baseball card.
People want to know the history of Negro League baseball. This should be passed on. I would sell baseball cards over the internet. Huh?
You could.
Who ever heard of the internet? The whole world will be able to see and hear what I'm saying. That's progress.
Dear Santa, I want a Fighting Frankie action figure, but not Fighting Frankie. I want the bad guy with a laser and reversible face, but not the bad guy with a laser. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Horse out! Dear Santa, I want a Fighting Frankie action figure.
Another horse?
Here, this will help.
Get the new Polaroid One-Step Express camera, now for under 35 bucks. And maybe you'll get what you want this year.
It's a feast for college football fans. National Car Rental Bowl Week. Coverage begins December 26th, only on ESPN.
Jason Richards, one of the star defensive players for Toledo. Take a look right here and watch where when the ball hits the snow. You can see that there's a little bit of turf cleared out, but watch when it hits the snow. It skids all of a sudden, and Riddle has to improvise. Difficult situation, as we pointed out. These are difficult conditions to kick a field goal in.
And there's Richards right now, who is the sack leader for the Toledo defense. Low Turner is in at the tailback spot, in for Doug Chapman. Second drive for Marshall. And it's Turner who gets it back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll bring up second down and about 10. Offensively, up front, Marshall very big, very good. Toledo's not a real big team, Tom.
Well, I think that one of the things that, you know, in this contemporary football, everybody is looking for speed. And with the 44-pound advantage, you would think that they want to slug it out between the tackles, but that is not Marshall's style.
Second down and 10, ball at the 35-yard line. That's Randy Moss in motion. Pennington dives forward for about 3 yards. The story of Chad Pennington is an interesting one, Todd. He started as a freshman here 2 years ago, led his team to the national championship game, lost to Montana, and then last year he redshirted when Eric Kresser showed up on campus.
And Kresser has done a pretty nice job of marketing his 30-plus touchdown passes. He is now a backup with the Cincinnati Bengals. 2 years ago, I had this game here against Montana when Pennington, as you pointed out, a freshman, struggled a little bit behind Dave Dickinson, a great quarterback from Montana, who pulled it out for him on a fourth and 3.
Who reminds the Marshall coaches a lot of Chris Wallace. Pennington got his man, Mark Wicks, with the catch, and he's into Toledo territory.
One of the things that's been happening here in the first couple of series is you can see the defensive backs, Rich. You can see them backpedaling very slowly and very gingerly. They don't want to slip as it occurred during the Toledo. Right there you can see Herndon just a little bit tentative, isn't going to break on the ball as quickly as he might. Take a look at the little tiptoe steps there. Watch right there. That extra step that it took to get to the ball enabled him to get the reception. Nice throw by Pennington.
Ball at the 46-yard line of Toledo. Pennington, a quick throw. Coldclaw, the catch, and down he goes. Well defended. Keith Travis.
Yeah, Keith Travis wasn't fooled. The idea there was to break one tackle and let the lineman come out and give him some help, but Travis was right out there, would not let Coldclaw go. Coldclaw, 6'3", 209, is not a small wide receiver, but it did not matter to Travis, who was there on top of it.
A loss of 2, ball at the 48-yard line of Toledo. There's a look at LaVorne. He's just a junior. This will be a very talented team, even if Randy Moss goes to the next level next year. 2nd down and 12. Play clock almost expired. Little option look. And it's Lowe Turner down to about the 42-yard line. Lots of snow, lots of wind. Down to the sidelines, Chris Marlowe.
Okay, the Marshall players have been slipping and sliding around. They've decided to make an equipment change. They brought out 60 pair of shoes, and they've got some cleats on them now. They were going to use these earlier, decided not to, but now that they're slipping around, they think these are the shoes that can get them a little traction. Back to you.
Thanks, Chris. Headgear not optional tonight.
No, I think that part of the equipment change for Toledo and for Marshall is going to be wearing those hats when they come to the sidelines. It'll warm them right up.
42-yard line of Toledo. Looking at 3rd down and 6. Pennington, little screen pass, and it's smelled out and snuffed by Matt Valen, the junior linebacker, a hometown kid out of Toledo.
Well, Valen is the guy that went for over 100 tackles during the season. Man on man, he does an outstanding job. And at this point, you're saying to yourself, well, I don't understand. Is it a situation where they have special coverage on Moss? No, they just feel like they could get the 1st down here, assuming that they had a mismatch in the flat, the ball thrown a little bit behind, and that enabled Valen to come out and drop Chapman.
Chris Hansen into punt.
Nice kick, turned it over.
Jameel Turner, a fair catch. Boy, it's inside the 10-yard line. Difficult to tell as a returner where you are, and Turner made a mistake. Toledo's ball when we get back.
Here we go. Jock Jams, Volume 3. Jock Jams, Volume 3. I love it, baby. I love it. Jock Jams, Volume 3. I can't believe it. I mean, it's the best Jock Jams ever. Jock Jams, Volume 3 from ESPN and Tommy Boy Music. It's awesome, baby.
No, you're right, Bob. Your predictions were correct. You're the man, Bob.
Come on.
How'd you get in here?
Be a fan.
I am a fan.
Then you could win the ESPN Be a Fan Ultimate Road Trip presented by Bud Light. Log on to ESPN Sports Zone and predict who'll win each of the Big Monday matchups.
Big Mondays!
You and a friend could hit the road for the ultimate road trip. Go to WAC, Big East, and Big 12 Conference Championship games.
Can I bring Bob?
And a friend.
Bob is my friend.
Hopefully, this man won't win the ESPN Be a Fan Ultimate Road Trip presented by Bud Light. Enter now.
Marshall by a field goal late in the 1st quarter.
Well, I was really surprised that he caught that ball. They are at the 8-yard line. I'm thinking in these conditions, plus the fact that the snow is going to soften the AstroTurf, that the returners might be better off in some cases that when in doubt, just let the thing drop.
Chris Wallace turns and gives to Dwayne Harris, and Harris breaks it out across the 10, out to about the 15-yard line, just short of the 1st down.
Good job by the offensive line here. You had to figure that Marshall's going to stack themselves in here, knowing that they're just trying to get out. Look at the point of attack. They get the corner, and Wallace tries to make a little bit of a shake. He's able to get past, but not before he gets within a yard of the 1st down.
Offensive line of Toledo outweighing the Marshall defensive line by about 30 pounds.
I think that's standard fare now. I don't think that you get to play on the offensive line unless you tip the scales at 280.
2nd and short, ball at the 17-yard line. And a nice tackle by Larry Moore, cutting down Dwayne Harris short of the 1st down.
There's a situation that's the kind of tackle that's going to be effective on this turf tonight. Normally, if you throw so low, guy gets a chance to hurdle over you or maybe make a little bit of a cut. That little juke is non-existent because of that field. Moore knows that. Good tackle. Safe. I love that response. Look at that as he goes down, playing umpire. Safe. Actually, he's out. He's down. He should have given it the thumb. A little confused.
3rd down and 1 from the 17. Harris. I'm not sure. He needed about a yard.
You know what was funny? What was funny about that is he got the first down, but that's one of the few times I've seen 11 in the box. You got 11 green shirts all within that area, but give the offensive line credit. Moved him just enough for Harris to get the first.
Gary Pinkel, 7th year as the head coach of the Rockets, has kind of patterned things after Don James, a guy he played for and coached for at the University of Washington.
Do you think so? It's amazing talking to him, but boy, he just has nothing but good things to say about the former Washington coach.
Played for James when James was the head coach at Kent State. The catch by Ray Curry, and he's escorted out of bounds by the entire Thundering Herd, it looks like.
Is it just me, or does it seem like when the ball goes out in the flat that it seems to be just a little bit in slow motion? The catch is made, and then there's like this hesitation because the defense does not want to make a mistake.
Let's go down to the sidelines. Chris Marlowe.
All right, Toledo has not been slipping and sliding. Their equipment manager told me before the game that they were going to wear these wet rats. They're really gripping models, and he outfitted the entire team with them right before play started. So from the kickoff, Toledo has been wearing these. If this game ends up 3-0 Toledo, you have to give that equipment man a game ball. Back to you.
I can see the headline tomorrow in the Toledo paper. Wet rats. The difference. Short of the first down is Dwayne Harris. It'll bring up another 3rd down and about a yard. Gary Pinkel, you know, when he was at Washington, offensive coordinator for Don James, just a slew of successful quarterbacks. Chris Chandler, Kerry Conklin, Hugh Millen, Mark Brunell, Billy Joe Hobart. And he's come to Toledo and had just a tremendous amount of success.
Well, so he knows a little bit about quarterbacks, and when he talks so highly about Wallace, you know that it's not faint praise.
And that's Wallace himself going straight ahead, and it looks like he has another first down. And Toledo has moved the ball out from inside their 10 to better field position.
Now here, this is something that may sound strange, but having played in a few games like this, I really believe this. This can give the offense for Marshall a chance to literally get cold. And they're spending an awful lot of time now on the sidelines as Toledo able to eke out these first downs.
Bob Pruitt of the Thundering Herd on top after 1. Marshall 3, Toledo nothing. The Thundering Herd and the Rockets in a winter wonderland in West Virginia.
Today, people who didn't send the money, Western Union, and the heartbreak it caused. So what happened?
My Aunt Leona called. She was throwing a party and she sprung a leak.
She did?
Well, her tub did. And I told Mercury here to send money.
I did.
But not Western Union.
Her aunt sprung a leak and you didn't use Western Union?
No, and it took forever.
And what does Aunt Leona have to say?
Hey, it's your money. Use Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
Something else. Wrong. Smart thinking.
When sports cream? When legs are sore. When backs ache. When muscles hurt. Wise Sports Cream? Rubbing it in brings fast pain relief. No medicine-y smell. Wise Sports Cream? Because it works.
Pizza?
Hey, who delivered?
Actually, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. Where's it from? I believe I said it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno. Who'd you say delivered? It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza is the frozen pizza with a crust that bakes up fresh like pizzeria pizza.
Bites you for it. Don't make me hurt you.
For fresh baked pizza at home, it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
I won't go. The jungle is impenetrable. Swamps, marshes, jagged mountain ridges, icy cliffs, raging rivers, arctic winds, quicksand, dust storms, torrential rains. I stay here, but I have a Range Rover. Okay, I bring the kids.
Range Rover. No other luxury vehicle can make you this comfortable.
if you've just joined us, this is not the North Pole. It's Huntington, West Virginia, side of the MAC championship. 1 quarter in the books. Numbers?
Well, the big play for Toledo in the passing game, Wallace 3 for 3 and 60 yards on the flea flicker. Took most of that, but as you can see, running the ball hasn't been their strong suit as yet. And of course, that big sack on Wallace that ended the first drive is the reason why you have the 0.
The winner of this football game goes on to the postseason, to the Motor City Bowl on December 26th. That game will be on ESPN. Ball at the 32-yard line. Chris Wallace, the junior, trying to get Gary Pinkel's offense in gear. Toledo with the football at their own 33-yard line. Dwayne Harris. A gain of about 3. A high ankle sprain kept Harris out of the final 3 games for the Rockets. They won just 1 of those.
Yeah, they definitely need him. He was over 1,100 yards. He was certainly a key to the offense. I mean, Wallace threw for 25 touchdowns, did a lot of good things, but you got to have that guy that can give you 4 or 5 yards of carry, and that's certainly what Harris provided.
You can see that air cast that he's wearing under his sock. From the 35-yard line. Wallace.
A lot of room.
And out of bounds he goes with a first down. Flag down.
I'm wondering here, that looks like it might be in the spot of a hold. And again, it could be an offside. It looked like B.J. Cohen was clapping his hands, indicating he thought he got held. But I'm sure that they're going to refuse that one and take the play.
Offsides on the defense. The penalties declined. It's a first down.
That's one of the things that really concerns Bob Pruitt, the mobility and the escapability of Chris Wallace.
Well, right there, what happened is that he had great pass protection, and most of the receivers are on the right side. He breaks out, and even though Barber's able to shove him out of bounds, not before he can get the first. There's mobility for a quarterback is not an underrated asset.
You can see at the top of your screen, they're having troubles setting the chains along the far sideline. Ball right now at the 44-yard line. Toledo on the move.
You're sure?
No, but I'm trying hard to sell it. On 1st and 10, Harris. Down he goes in the arms of Albert Barber. Down to the sidelines, Chris Marlowe.
All right, joining me now, the executive director of the Ford Motor City Bowl, George Perlis. Coach, where is your heavy coat?
That's right. That's what my mother would say. Where's your coat, boy?
The game so far, Toledo and Marshall, your impressions?
Well, it's a good, tough game. It doesn't look like the running game's working for either team. 3-point game, and that's about what it is. It's a tight football game.
The opponent for the MAC champion, who's still on the table?
Well, Notre Dame is still on the table. So is Iowa. So is North Carolina State, Ole Miss, Mississippi, and Virginia.
Let's take this play for 1 moment. Rich.
Thanks, Chris. Ray Curry in motion. Chris Wallace on play action with time. Over the middle for Curry, who makes the catch. And he's still on his feet. He will score. Ray Curry from Chris Wallace. And Toledo is on the board, 56 yards.
Rogers Beckett is the man in coverage, and once again, because of the tiptoeing and his inability to make cuts, you're going to see right here. Take a look at the misdirection as he cuts across the field. Now you can see Curry tries to get with him, but he just never does close the gap. And Curry breaks the tackle right there, keeps his feet, and goes the distance. Big plays in the passing game as a result of this snowy field.
Chris Merrick on for the extra point. He'll try to make it 7-3. This is not a gimme. Remember the 40-yard field goal attempt. Merrick never got a chance. The snap was mishandled. This one is up and through.
Curry able to break through for Toledo in a big passing play. Take a look. He comes in motion, runs the deep crossing route, and because they're in a zone, he's able to find the gap. Now, Wallace, of course, everybody makes an issue of the club feet that he had and his ability to be mobile, but the man has an arm. That is a difficult throw across his body, and you can see right there, number 7 is very pleased with what he's done. He's put his team up by 4.
Who says you can't buy taste? My clients do it all the time. Like, let's say I find the most amazing English high-back armchair. Then I better get it in front of them immediately or someone else will. That's why I value GTE Internet. In seconds, I can be online in Tampa while downloading huge files from an auction in Paris. I love shopping in Paris. Especially when it's with someone else's money.
You like the way you feel when you get what you need. Like the kid of your heart, like a break in the weather. You deserve someone who's always there at your service. Quality care.
Quality Care Service from Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
It could be the rock hopper or the mud pack, the turtleneck or that fuzzy frog. It could be anything on your Discover card statement, because everything you buy with your Discover card this holiday could win you one of 10 family vacations to Universal Studios Hollywood. The more you use your card, the more chances you have to win. Plus, when you buy the Lost World Jurassic Park video with your Discover card, we'll send you these binoculars free. It pays to Discover. Accepted where you see the Nova sign.
ESPN's presentation of the 1997 Mid-America Conference Football Championship is brought to you by De Beers. A diamond is forever.
Todd, by the time we get to the 4th quarter, he'll have about, what, 10% of the field cleared?
This is kind of like the Atlas rolling the stone uphill.
Toledo 7, Marshall 3. That man, Ray Curry, on the receiving end of the Chris Wallace touchdown pass. And Chris Merrick, who had a low-line drive his first kickoff, repeats it with a ground ball up the middle. And the Thundering Herd getting a nice return by B.J. Summers. Let's head back down to the sidelines. Chris Marlowe is still with the coach.
All right, Ford Motor City Bowl Chairman George Perlis. That touchdown ruined our great interview.
Yes, as soon as we say something, they score.
All right, 6 teams still in contention to play the MAC champion, but Notre Dame is one on your wish list, aren't they?
Well, right now we have over 50,000 seats sold. If we get Notre Dame or Iowa, we'll sell it out at 80,000. That's the second largest stadium in all the 20 bowls. Only the Rose Bowl is larger.
Congratulations on a great job, and we better get out of here before there's another touchdown.
Thank you.
Here's a hat to keep you warm.
Thanks, Chris. Marshall with the football, and unable to really get the football to Randy Moss except once already. That's Low Turner straight ahead. He'll gain nothing from his own 40.
I like the call that they had earlier with the option play, but you're right, trying to get him the ball. And you know what? That makes sense. You better have those wristbands on the elbows, you know, for that sweat that's going to come off your bicep in this weather. He's styling a little bit here, but you can see, you saw the face there, a little bit frustrated. And, of course, some of the pressure has to be on Tim Nunez, the offensive coordinator, to find ways to get Moss open and to get him the ball.
During that last Toledo possession, Moss was changing footwear. No gain, 2nd and 10. Marshall at their own 40, and flags are down.
It appeared that Jared Keeley moved a little bit too quickly in the tight end slot.
And it looks like it'll go against Marshall.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
You know, Todd, a lot of people dismissed the Mid-American Conference. They had some big wins this year. You look at Miami beating Virginia Tech 24-17. Toledo beat Purdue 36-22. Western Michigan a win over a Big East team in Temple. Ohio beat Maryland. Ohio almost beat Kansas State on the road, lost by just 3.
Well, I think that game with Miami basically ruined Virginia Tech's season. They were undefeated at the time, and if I'm not mistaken, ranked in the top 10 at home. Miami, Ohio comes in and beats them.
They'll back it up to the 35-yard line. Gerald Long with the catch. And he's knocked out of bounds. And the Toledo defense, a very nice sequence.
Really have been, and I think they need to avoid the extracurricular situations here. Don't get out there and get into jawing matches. You need the energy. I mean, it's one of those situations where the weather has already sapped your concentration a little bit. And that man Clarence Love has to like what's happening here.
Clarence Love, his mission, should he choose to accept it?
Well, we mentioned at the top, this could be a multi-million-dollar game for him. There are a lot of pro scouts in the stands. And if Randy Moss comes out of this game with less than stellar statistics, they're going to look at number 26 and what the job he's done.
Marshall from their own 36 on 3rd down and 14. Pennington to the sidelines. Coldclaw broke it up nicely by Rasheed Sumter.
Sumter does a nice job breaking on the corner out, getting to him, but here is Randy Moss. See, once again, they go with the double team. Coming underneath is number 30, Marcus Matthews, the outside linebacker. Love has him deep. You can see they're going to double team him on almost every play. So it's up to Sumter and some of the other people in the secondary. They're going to have to go man for man on the other side of the field, and so far, Rich, they've been up to the task.
Chris Hansen out for his second punt.
Over, and he did the right thing. He did the right thing not touching it, even though that they're going to be able
Headed
to down,
to the
or
goal
maybe
line.
they
Did
can't.
they get it? No, it's a touchback.
Inevitably, the young people don't understand that you can't touch the thing and then drag yourself into the end zone. Right there, if they could have just touched the ball, stopped the momentum, they would have had it. Instead, now Toledo catches a break, and they'll be starting at their own 20.
You like the way you feel when you get what you need. Like the key to your heart, like a break in the weather. You deserve someone who's always there at your service. Quality care.
Quality care service from Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers.
Reggie! Did you eat your chunky soup?
How did you get down here? Ma?
Did you eat your chunky soup?
Yeah, Ma. Chunky beef with country vegetables. With more beef than any other soup. Lean beef, potatoes, vegetables. Chunky always hits the spot. Where'd you get that outfit?
Can't talk, gotta go. Just want to make sure you're eating good.
That's my mom.
Oh, yeah? Which one?
Campbell's Chunky Soup.
It's loaded with beef.
Excuse me. Will you drop this back there?
Where?
In Nebraska?
Lee Riveted. The new look of Lee.
It's a feast for college football fans. National Car Rental Bull Week. Coverage begins December 26th, only on ESPN.
Toledo a 7-3 lead over Marshall in the MAC championship game in Huntington, West Virginia. And the snow continues to fall. Though it hasn't affected the Toledo offense that much. They have moved the football in this game.
Got to give them a lot of credit. You know, it's a road game. Marshall's got the home field advantage, the inclement weather, all of these things working against them, and they're up 7-3, and Wallace has just been terrific.
And Wallace is going to scramble again, dumps it off to Dwayne Harris, who's got a lot of white in front of him. Across midfield, inside Marshall territory, down at about the 48-yard line.
The closest man to him was Larry McLeod, but when they went the play-action fake, I think that they just let him go. Take a look. Harris, here he is. He's going to get the fake, and he just gets left alone. There are no green shirts, and Wallace is able to get him the ball out here. And as you pointed out, there was a lot of white in front of him.
That's right.
I'm so used to hearing green, that just sounded funny.
No longer will you run to daylight.
New meaning to the term Great White Way.
46-yard line. On 1st and 10, Harris. Hit and hit hard. Girardi Mercer with the stop. Chris Wallace is having a great year, and so far, an outstanding MAC championship game.
That's not a bad average per attempt, or for completion for that matter. What's that on the computer passing efficiency? Can you translate that quickly?
I don't think it computes. It's infinity.
Yeah, it's like 300 something.
Second down and 11 after a loss of a yard. And Wallace checking off. Slips as he throws, and it's incomplete. His first miss of the day.
Part of the chess match here that is going on is that Marshall has been a really big pass rush team coming into this game, getting a lot of sacks. This is not the kind of conditions where you should be doing that. And I've noticed here Marshall now has been rushing with 4, not inclined to blitz as much, trying more to contain Wallace because he's been getting far too much time in some of the schemes that they've had. Look for Kevin Kelly, the defensive coordinator, to start to alter some of the schemes here. Not only try to confuse Wallace, but see if they can do a better job in the secondary of covering people.
Paul Totten who put the pressure on. Ball at the 47-yard line of Marshall. Toledo with the lead on the move. Almost midway through the second quarter. Wallace stumbling out of the gate. Throwing, man open, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Rogers Beckett. Beckett up the right side, and he's close to midfield. His third interception of the season.
You don't want to say that it was a matter of time, but Wallace had been very fortunate up to this point, throwing off the wrong foot, scrambling, finding open receivers, and you're going to see deep downfield, he once again has the open receiver, but moving to his right, he puts just a little bit too mustard on it across his body. Kreitzberg has no chance, and sitting there playing center field with a great catch. And check the hurdle here. I love this. He doesn't know there's bad conditions. Rogers Beckett knows that, hey, this is my opportunity to get a chance to be on national TV with the pick, and I'm going to make the most of it.
And Marshall with excellent field position at the 48. Whether it's their own 48 or not, I'm not sure. Pennington to the sidelines for Gerald Long, and it's incomplete. Clarence Love on the coverage.
Tough coverage on the part of Love, or tough love if you prefer. They were going out on the sidelines, and you can hear the crowd booing. They very much thought that they were going to get a pick, get interference. He post and on the out and up. Now take a look at Love right here. Pushes him, shoves him out of bounds, in fact. Could have been a little bit past the 5-yard line, but the officials decide that it's incidental coverage, and Love is having it.
With these conditions, any contact is magnified in a pattern. When you make contact, you get off balance. You have a tough time regaining your footing. Doug Chapman, and down he goes.
Nice.
Fred Schultz, the redshirt freshman out of Flint, Michigan.
One of the things that's going to be difficult there is that you saw Jason Lamar, the man in on the play. One of the deals here with the shotgun is that you're not going to have time to clear the ball away. And so there could be a situation out of the shotgun where the ball is going to skid. A lot of pressures on the centers for both teams out of the shotgun.
Third down and 11. Pennington. Incomplete. And the Rockets hold.
Well, Pennington doesn't have the same level of mobility as Wallace. He scrambles to his right. But even if the catch was made, it wasn't going to be for the first down. And once again, the Toledo defense 3 and out.
And Randy Moss with just one touch.
Well, that's what we get. That's what we get for hyping it into a frenzy. But at this point, he has one catch. But again, you know, you got to give Clarence Love and company their credit for having done it, as well as Tom Abstutz, the defensive coordinator, who has been integrating a number of the double teams at certain points, has been able to take Moss effectively out of the game, at least up to this point.
The punt coming from about midfield. Chris Hansen. Let's see what Jameel Turner does with this one. This one comes to a halt at about the 10-yard line, and so the Rockets will be backed up. They lead this MAC championship 7-3.
This year, the real football fan is asking Santa for one gift.
Gentlemen, this is heads, this is tails. Captain, call it in the air.
To commemorate the opening coin toss ceremony, the National Football League commissioned Environment to create an official game coin for each NFL team. And now you can reserve one of these historic game coins for only $59.95. The coin will be used during the opening coin toss of every game this season, but only 7,500 coins can be minted before the mold is destroyed. Each is individually numbered with a certificate of authenticity. The coin is minted with 1 troy ounce of pure silver. And if you call right now, you'll receive this collector's display case absolutely free. Sorry, due to the limited quantity of coins, only advance reservations can be honored. Reserve your official game coin. Have your credit card ready and order this valuable sports collectible today. Sorry, due to Christmas delivery, only credit card orders can be accepted.
Call 1-800-563-4141.
Being on SportsCenter does take its toll.
For Kenny Mayne, I'm Dan Patrick. Good night.
Once we finish a show, we do it all over again for the overseas markets.
Buenas noches, amigos. Me llamo Kenny Mayne.
Same highlights, same anchors, different dialects.
Dos Vidania. Menu Zabut, Boris Patrick. Vut, Kenny Mainsky.
To touch people all over the world, that's special.
Chris Wallace and his Toledo Rockets with a 7-3 lead, 8.5 minutes left in this first half. Wallace's last throw was picked off by Rogers Beckett, now at his own 12-yard line on 1st and 10. Dwayne Harris over the right side, gains about a yard.
One thing that impresses me about the quarterback, I know that this is aesthetics, and we've been talking about Wallace. Most of the time, the guys in short sleeves in this weather are always offensive linemen, and of course they've got a little extra layer of fat to keep them warm. I mean, this guy is in short sleeves in this weather. This is really amazing to me.
And those quarterbacks always have the little wraparounds. They put their hands in.
Yeah, he's got none of that. The linemen have to respect that. Got a quarterback as tough as they are, willing to deal with the elements.
Gary Pinkel said that Chris Wallace has gotten better faster than any of the quarterbacks he's ever coached, and that includes the 5 quarterbacks that are in the pros from the University of Washington. Brock Kreitzberg makes the catch. Chris Wallace having a big night. Let's go down to the sidelines. Chris Marlowe.
You know, Chris Wallace has overcome a lot. He was born with severely deformed club feet. They were so bad that doctors actually had to break bones in both of the feet the next day and set them into cast. When he was 6 months old, he was fitted with leg braces and orthopedic shoes, which hurt so bad that little Chris would cry all the time. In fact, he cried so much that his mother, Rita, defied doctors' orders and took the cast off. Then she started her own program of massage and manipulation. She started talking to his feet, and she prayed to God a lot. Then, interestingly, one day when he was 9 months old, Chris stood up and ran across the room. They called the doctors, and the doctors said it was a miracle. He went on to play football and basketball and get a college scholarship, and he has a chance to play in the pros. A very heartwarming story. Back to you.
Thanks, Chris. And when Gary Pinkel recruited him, the reason he liked him, he said he had great feet.
Will she say, I love it? You shouldn't have. It's just what I wanted. Or will she say, nothing at all? The diamond solitaire necklace. This Christmas goes straight for the heart.
A diamond is forever. De Beers. Why did the frog cross the road?
He didn't. We've rebuilt one of the greatest video game heroes of all time, and now he's back. Frogger on CD-ROM. The classic arcade game is back and better than ever with more graphics, more worlds, more enemies, more superpowers, and it's more addictive than ever. The hardest part is turning it off. Frogger on CD-ROM for PC and PlayStation game console. Revived, rebuilt, and ready to hop.
Hey, buddy. You okay?
This holiday season, British Airways will bring 5 million people together.
Chris Wallace, his feet, he still walks on the sides of his feet, Todd. They say he goes through shoes at record pace.
I believe it. It reminded me when I was a kid looking at Willie Mays, that pigeon-toed gait.
But he has very good feet when it comes to scrambling, and he dives forward for what looks like a Toledo first down.
And how frustrating for Marshall. In good coverage, people are blanketed, decent pass rush, but once again, those feet of which you made reference to get him out of trouble. Play action, looks to his left. Nobody is there, gets a nice block there. The contain is broken, and Wallace is able to break through and get the first down.
You know, I told you what Gary Pinkel said about he liked his feet. Pinkel had no idea about the travails that he had as a youngster. The other thing Gary Pinkel told us about his quarterback, Chris Wallace, he has it.
The intangible it.
Yes. Dwayne Harris breaks a couple tackles, a gain of about a yard. He explained that it as the ability to win at a high level.
One of the things that's been impressive at this point is their third down conversions. Right now, they're 3 out of 5, and that's been keeping the drives going for Toledo. And once again, the few times that the offense has been getting on the field for Marshall, it's been ineffective. And I'm not going back to that cold thing that I made reference to earlier. I just think you got to give Toledo a lot of credit. They're showing a lot of heart here.
Second down and 8. From the 30-yard line, Toledo at their own 30. Ray Curry in motion. Here comes the blitz. Wallace got to get rid of it. He does, and it's almost picked off.
Got a break there. B.J. Summers, that was kind of a soft ball. Even though it looked like it could have been a one-handed catch, that's one that it's soft. He rolls out to his right, misdirection. People should be following the guard, and this time they do. An awful lot of green shirts. He's just trying to get rid of this ball. Summers with the pop-up can't maintain the ball in the air, and Wallace is able to get away with one there.
He was looking for Mike Billett, his tight end. B.J. Summers, 1 pick, 4 forced fumbles.
You saw a lot of the frustration there on Paul Totten as he shoved Wallace to the ground. He's been close a couple of times, but no cigar. You can sense it right there. I think at the NFL, that would have brought a penalty.
Third down and 8. Wallace to the sideline. This one was almost picked off. And it's B.J. Summers again.
And it's Totten that's in his face again. So many times you don't give defensive linemen credit because of the fact that they don't get sacks. You can see Totten right there forces him to throw off the back foot. Summers able to make the play even though it would have been out of bounds. It sometimes gets frustrating for defensive linemen to keep coming in, even though they don't get a tackle or get a play. Give Totten credit. He continues to persevere. Summers with an owie.
Gabe Lindstrom to punt it away. And guess who's deep?
He's too deep. I don't think the ball's ever going to get to him that deep.
Randy Moss is back.
He gets 50 yards away.
Moss gets a good bounce. He has never returned a punt or a kickoff for a touchdown in his career. And it will be good field position for the Thundering Herd right around their own 40-yard line. College basketball on the deuce. Lute and the Wildcats, number 4 Arizona against the Baylor Bears. Monday night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Well, even though he didn't get a touchdown or a big play, he took it on the hop and gave him an extra 10 yards. And as you pointed out, pretty good field position. You know, you get the... It's just a matter of time. Do you get that feeling? A la, say, a Barry Sanders or somebody that exciting, but it's just a matter of time before he gets a big play?
Last possession, Todd, they didn't throw it in his direction. Let's see if they do it on this one. Right away? No. This one to... makes the catch, lost the ball, and Toledo has it. Nathan Poole had it for a brief moment, and I think Clarence Love came up with a football.
Well, Clarence Love is having an outstanding football game, both in coverage and now in stripping the ball. This is the play that Moss had earlier, a slant route, not quite able to maintain possession. Now he has it. Love comes in and strips the ball away. The recovery is made by number 54, Matt Valen. But take a look at Love from the backside. Just strips the ball away. Outstanding job. So many times you talk about the mismatch in corners because the corners always seem to be 5'10", 5'11", 175, 180. They're always tough guys, always people that are willing to hit. Love no exception with 4 tackles up to this point.
And great defense from a Toledo secondary that so far has shut down this Marshall offense. Mace Freeman in motion, and Wallace will put it up. Pressure again. He escapes. Got his man. It's Freeman who pays the price, but holds on. Larry Moore with the hit. Toledo is in Marshall territory.
And you saw the quarterback sprinting down to thank him. He knew very well that he was leading him into getting whacked. Freeman runs the crossing route. He knows he's going to get hit, and once again the mobility is Wallace as he drifts to his left, throws across his body, puts the ball right on the nose, but he knows right here as soon as he catches the ball that he's going to get whacked. Moore delivers the blow, but able to hang on to the ball, and that's why he sprinted downfield and said, hey, thanks a lot. Right there, he knows it. Now he lets his momentum come downfield and say, hey, partner, I know that I led you to get whacked, but thanks a lot for hanging on, Freeman.
From the Marshall 42-yard line, Dwayne Harris over the left side. He's got about a 5-yard pickup.
A little frustration, even though you're only down by 4, is setting in here at Marshall. First of all, they had to figure that with the home field advantage that this is going to be, hey, you know what? We've got that 12th man on the field. Well, the 12th man right now has laryngitis. Toledo has all the momentum right now, and they've got to be second-guessing themselves a little bit at this point.
Bob Pruitt in his second year last year. He led the Thundering Herd to a national championship. Gary Pinkel trying to get Toledo back into a bowl game. 2 years ago, they won the Las Vegas Bowl, beating Nevada from the 36-yard line of Marshall. Just a bit outside. Looking for Mace Freeman. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 5.
Well, Rich Euchre, you're right about that. This is the play that earlier had been so effective because of the defensive back's trepidation at charging up to get the receiver.
B.J. Summers, who has had hands on a couple of Chris Wallace's throws today. Toledo 177 yards through the air. They were 6th in the MAC conference in throwing. And, of course, Marshall led the conference. Almost led the free world. Freeman in motion. And a sliding try. It's incomplete. It was Isaiah Jackson, the junior tight end. Will bring up a 4th down. And it will be interesting to see what Gary Pinkel does here.
Well, I think he's got a punt here, but Kevin Kelly has done a great job. That's the defensive coordinator for Marshall in trying to mix things up. Sometimes blitzes, sometimes goes back. This time he rushed with 6, forces him to the outside, and even though he makes the catch, or does not make the catch, got to give Marshall a lot of credit for trying to do different things. I got to tell you right here, Rich, I don't like this call, especially when you have the momentum.
Is Gary Pinkel going for it, or is he trying to draw Marshall offside? A 5-yard penalty might give him a 1st down. He's going for it. Wallace in trouble. Broken up. B.J. Summers again. And Marshall takes over.
You know what? I just don't like this for a lot of reasons. Simply because of the fact that when you have the momentum and their offense at this point hasn't done anything, punt it down there, pin them inside the 10. Instead now, Marshall takes over with pretty decent field position, 4:21 remaining in the half, and kind of a little bit of life as a result of the good defensive play by B.J. Summers, as you pointed out, has had a very good last 2 series.
And so,
excuse me, that was Maxwell. That was not B.J. Summers. Still playing from free safety. He's able to get over and make the play. I just, you know, of course that is our job as broadcasters, a second guess, but I just don't understand why they didn't punt in that situation.
That's part of the manual they pass out before the season.
That's right. Maxwell pretty pleased with himself as well. He should be.
And now let's see if Marshall can take advantage of their defensive stop. They have the football at their own 36-yard line. They're inside screen to Moss, and down he goes right into the Toledo defense. Jason Lamar made the stop.
The timing of that was a little bit convoluted. You could see right away that Pennington was not able to deliver the ball right on time. Take a look at the double clutch. He wants to throw right now, can't do it, has to double clutch, comes back. Moss slips down here, but even if you're a defensive player, if you're Lamar, that looks awfully good on film.
Chad Pennington, first team All-MAC. And so far he's been upstaged by Chris Wallace. Moss with 2 catches now. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
There's a slant again.
He's got another one, and he dropped the ball.
And
Toledo's got it. Clarence Love.
Come back with me about 11 years. You remember a play in the playoffs, the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. Jerry Rice catches a slant route. For all intents and purposes, he's on his way to a touchdown. Then for whatever reason, the ball comes out. Take a look at Moss right here. Now with that speed, is he gone? He was trying too hard to switch the ball to the other hand and give Love a lot of credit. It looked like Moss was going to get there first, but he hand fights him, elbows him, and gets to the ball ahead of Moss. I tell you what, Clarence Love is living up to the reputation that they talked about earlier, and maybe Gary Payton is not the only glove in town.
They call him the Love Glove. Clarence Love. Randy Moss with the catch, but Toledo forces another turnover. They have the football at their own 33. First carry of the day for Kevin Kidd, the fullback, and Kidd stays on his feet after a gain of about a yard.
Well, I just didn't understand why when he was into the open field that he just didn't tuck the ball and go. It appeared to me that he was trying to switch hands, which just didn't seem to make any sense. And of course, Moss with that great blazing speed, he had to figure that once he had, had the opening.
7-3 Toledo on top. On 2nd and 8. It's Dwayne Harris, and he's outside. Harris has the first down and more. And he goes down in Marshall territory. John Grace made the stop, and Toledo is on the move again.
But Mike Lennox is the one that makes the play, number 71. What a terrific block he makes at the point of attack, and maybe that's the reason it's going to come back. I just thought that Lennox did a great job at the point of attack.
Offsides, Marshall, 3rd time today.
Once he gets to the outside, number 71 is in front, and he just does a great job engaging the man who has contained.
It's a first down.
And that enabled Harris to get the big yardage. Take a look right here. Here he comes, number 71 on Moore. Look at the engaged right there. He has no chance to get outside, and of course, in that case, Moore is the corner. He's the run support. So give Lennox a lot of credit for getting out front, enabling his runner to get the extra yardage.
And Todd, you can really see how valuable Dwayne Harris is to this offense. That throw batted down and incomplete. Let's head to the studios, where I'm sure it's much warmer, with Chris Fowler.
And while you guys get warmed up at halftime, Rich, we'll have the National Car Rental Halftime Report, a preview of Championship Saturday. We'll hear from quarterbacks Peyton Manning and Scott Frost about their respective ball games, discuss whether Mack Brown should be allowed to coach Carolina's bowl game, and also an NBA update as the debut for Keith Van Horn of the Sixers. Lee and Kirk join me coming up at halftime.
Thanks, Chris. That's an interesting dilemma. A coach that takes another job. I know John L. Smith, the head coach at Utah State, who is headed to Louisville, is going to coach Utah State in the Humanitarian Bowl. But he has already started making claims in recruiting at Louisville. Dwayne Harris trying to cut inside on 2nd down. And he's back to the original line of scrimmage. Maurice Hines made the stop.
Well, with regards to that, I think back to 1989 when, Bill Frieder took the job at Arizona State basketball-wise. Does he want to coach the rest of the season? They said no. Steve Fisher came in and good things happened. In the case of Mack Brown, though, those are people that he's recruited. He has really forged a meaningful relationship with those players. I had a chance to check his interview, and I think that North Carolina really should let him coach that last game.
3rd down 10. Toledo 3 of 7 on 3rd down.
Quarterback draw.
Wallace, down he goes. Larry McLeod.
One of the things that they teach defensive linemen, Rich, is to stay in your lanes, and that negates a play like this. They were anticipating that maybe they were going to come with a blitz and go wild. They'd find a little bit of a gap and a lot of white. Take a look at the lanes right here by the defensive lineman. They stay in the middle, and he's got no place to go. B.J. Cohen cuts back to the inside, forces him another direction, and as a result, Larry McLeod, their 128 tackles coming into this game, their main man is able to get the big tackle for loss.
Gabe Lindstrom back to punt, and he'll be punting to Randy Moss.
Moss once again seems awfully deep.
Lindstrom with a nice kick that just rolls into the end zone. And it's a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. on ESPN, college football game day. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit. They'll bring you all there is to know about an important day in college football. Not a lot of games, but a lot at stake. It's tomorrow, 11 o'clock, 8 o'clock Pacific time.
So what do you think A&M's chances of upsetting Nebraska? Remember last year Texas did it. What do you think about A&M's chances?
Well, strange things happen in conference championships. Here, Marshall was favored in this ball game. In fact, in the local papers, you can see the timeouts remaining. The local papers were advertising trips to the Motor City Bowl, saying that space was filling up rapidly already. Pennington's throw, Coldclaw can't make the catch, and it's incomplete.
I know this wouldn't be very popular with the crowd here, Rich, but the way the offense has been so ineffective for Marshall in the first half, I think it would be wisdom here just to run the clock out and start over again. Because Pennington has been inaccurate here over the last couple of series. 8 for 15 and 86 yards.
You know,
and you don't want to make a mistake down here.
And in fairness to Pennington, he's hit on 2 passes that were later fumbled for turnover.
Good point.
On the ground, Doug Chapman. Gain of about 8. Short of the first down. The clock continues to roll, and the Thundering Herd going without a huddle. Well, now they are going to huddle up. And so I think you're right, Todd. They're happy to let the clock roll.
Well, the crowd's not very happy, but they have to understand that it is, you know, it's a 60-minute game. And you don't want to make a mistake here, and points are at a premium in a game of this magnitude.
Coming up at halftime, the National Car Rental halftime reports. Chris Fowler and the gang will preview tomorrow. Take a look at the Heisman Trophy hopefuls. And again, Doug Chapman, and that will be the final. No, the clock stops. A flag is down with 12 seconds left.
I certainly didn't expect this. I mean, even with the weather, I thought we were going to have a lot of points and a lot of yards.
We've had a lot of excitement. I mean, a lot of big plays that turned into fumbles, and it's been Toledo's defense that has made the big plays.
We have to find the 30-yard line, and then we also have 2 dead ball fouls.
But most important, never mind the dead ball fouls, because they're probably going to negate one another. Let's find the 30.
Once they find it, I wonder if they'll stick a big flag in it.
Yeah.
Well, they cleared this field about half an hour before kickoff. It was clean and cleared, but the snow continued to fall. And by the time they kicked it off, you were looking at a skating rink.
Well, let's not forget that this is really difficult for the officials as well, particularly marking the balls. You know, when you change at the quarter. I mean, this is really a difficult situation here for the officials.
In fact, we've been told the halftime festivities have been canceled so they can clear the snow. And maybe they put an APB out throughout Huntington. All snowplows report to Marshall University Stadium.
Well, you know, up to this point, I'm sure that if you're Toledo, you don't mind, because things have been going well for them. But of course, if you're a Marshall fan, you're saying, yeah, bring them all out here. Let's clean this thing off.
Chad Pennington and the Marshall Thundering Herd, favorite in this football game. Everyone talked about Randy Moss, but the Toledo Rockets have come to Huntington. They have a 7-3 lead. Let's head to the studios.
All right, thank you. Some boos serenading the Thundering Herd as they head to the locker room. We have to get Dick Button in there to announce the second half. Kind of like full contact figure skating more than football. Coming up on our National Car Rental halftime report, we'll
championship game, and surprise, surprise, the Toledo Rockets out in front of the favored Marshall Thundering Herd. Halftime numbers. Dr. Christensen, dissect them.
Well, the thing that stands out of any consequence there is the turnover situation. Two very costly turnovers on fumbles for Marshall. And without those, especially the one by Moss, because that looked like he was going to go to the house.
Yeah, we talked about Randy Moss, and in the same breath, Clarence Love. He had a big first half, and the Toledo defense played very well.
I think the Toledo defense has really been the key to this particular game. They've just been outstanding in stuffing whatever it is up to this point that Marshall has been able to try. Slant route, the defensive backs are there. You can see Clarence Love with the strip. Clarence Love has been all over the field, as you pointed out. There's Love again. Moss this time fumbles it himself, but Love hustles up, makes the fumble recovery. The defense for Toledo up to this point, and as you pointed out, the weather has something to do with it, but they've been playing some good football.
Yeah, but the weather doesn't seem to have affected the offense for Toledo that much.
It hasn't. Wallace has been very effective. He's made some terrific throws. You know, they made some adjustments on defense for Marshall, but he has been terrific.
For the Marshall Thundering Herd, we talked about Moss and we talked about their offense. Their first possession, pretty impressive. They went 66 yards. After that, lots of turnovers.
Yeah, it's been nondescript up to that point, and you can see that on 3 different occasions it was 3 and out, and of course the 2 turnovers. I would look for, Kirk Herbstreit pointed out the fact they had to get Moss the ball. Whether it's a reverse or maybe just a hitch route, something of that nature, they need to get him the ball. Toledo on the other side, you can see, they have the 1 touchdown, but they've struggled since then too. Wallace has been effective in spurts, but the reality of it is that both defenses have played well, hence the reason why we only have 10 points.
And if you were with us in the first half, you can tell there's been some work done on the field, although obviously they haven't cleared it all off. They've got the hash marks, the yard markers, the sidelines, and the goal lines cleared. Now, that may not stay that way. Remember, it was clear 30 minutes before kickoff, and by the time they kicked it off, there was nothing but white.
Well, I couldn't help but think that when I was watching them clear all of this off, I thought, well, maybe this is for our benefit, because if I'm a player, I said, hey, listen, I want you to concentrate on getting rid of that snow between the 2 hashes. I don't necessarily care if those broadcasters can see the numbers. I want to make sure that I can run on the field.
And the officials, remember, they had so much trouble, and they were so proud to find the 30-yard line. Toledo will get the football at the 36-yard line, their own 36-yard line.
Davis, a pretty decent return out to the 36. You know, field position is going to be really crucial in this particular half, because if you, as you pointed out, Rich, if it becomes a situation to where the field is going to be snowy again, then Toledo can afford the luxury of playing field position and sitting on a 4-point lead, which seems very strange, but up to this point, both sides have been pretty inept offensively.
Toledo had 2 real big plays in that first half. The touchdown pass to Ray Curry of 56 yards, and then that flea flicker early. Little swing pass. Mike Billick, the tight end. A gain of about 10. He's close to a first down. Down to the sidelines. Let's see if Chris Marlowe survived halftime.
Okay, I'm still here. I talked to both coaches. Gary Pinkley said turnovers killed us. The defense was good, and the footing was terrible, quote, unquote. Bob Pruitt, when he came off second half, he said, we didn't execute. We've got to protect the football. Asked him what adjustment he made. He said, we're going to throw the football over the middle more, and we're going to get the ball to Randy Moss. Back to you.
Well, you saw that Marshall changed shoes a couple times in the first half. Maybe they should have changed gloves with those fumbles. Dwayne Harris hit right at the first down mark, and he's very close to a first down.
Well, of course, you know, to get the ball to Moss is one thing, but again, Toledo's defense has been in the way. And of course, now Toledo starts off with a first down here on their first possession.
Gary Pinkel, the winningest coach in Toledo history, won the MAC title in '95, 11-0-1 that year. Went on to win the Las Vegas Bowl. It's a first down. Toledo their own 45. Wallace to the air. Unloads it, and a gorgeous throw and a nice catch. Brock Kreitzberg holds on.
One of the things that pro scouts look at is the ability to catch the third receiver. Watch. There's the first receiver. He's not there. Where's the second receiver? He's not there. Great pass protection. He's able to buy time with his feet, float to the left, and just drill that ball in there. Just an outstanding job by the quarterback. The offensive line here is what does the job, because you can see that Kreitzberg there comes back to the ball like a good receiver does. Of course, the offensive line enabled the 5 seconds to have the quarterback get out to the left and deliver the ball on the money.
At the Marshall 43, it's Harris. Slips a couple tackles inside the 40, dives out of bounds at about the 37-yard line.
Very underrated part of the offense for Toledo up to this point, not getting a lot of credit. Jim Harding, Chris Williams, Jim Bates, Mike Lennox, and Colin Westridge done a very good job of protecting their quarterback up to this point.
Dave Christensen, the offensive coordinator for the Rockets, told us this week that it's a very balanced offensive line. Usually you ask an offensive coordinator, where do you like to run it? Well, I got a great left tackle. I got a great right guard. He said, look, I don't care. We can run it right, left, or up the middle. This one up the middle, and it goes nowhere. Larry McLeod, the hit on Dwayne Harris.
That's the reason why he had 128 tackles up to this particular game. Seen a lot of great inside linebackers this year. McLeod's one of them. You can see it in that face. That's a linebacker face with the big neck thing, you know, and the shoulder pads up like that.
He's a local kid out of Huntington.
At one point, Rich, they were 3 for 5 in third down conversions. The last 4 times they have failed. We'll see what happens here.
Mel Long in motion. On 3rd and 3, Wallace in and out of the hands of his receiver. And it's incomplete. Not a bad throw. Mace Freeman was the intended receiver.
Well, again, they came with the blitz. Man comes in motion. You can see comes underneath, makes the plant. Freeman comes out. Tough catch, but he's got to make that. It goes right between his hands, and Wallace, with people in his face, delivers the ball on the money.
In any conditions, this would be a difficult field goal attempt of about 54 yards. And in these conditions, you don't even think about it. Gabe Lindstrom will punt it.
Remember last time in the same setting, Rich, they decided to go for it. This time, they're going to play the game of field position.
B.J. Summers is deep. And into the end zone it goes. Touchback. Randy Moss and the Marshall Thundering Herd will get the football when we get back.
From the 29, shotgun formation. Quarterback got.
Something else. Bra. Smart thinking.
The snow has subsided, but it may start. Randy Moss trying to get some traction right now. 3 catches for Moss, and Marshall gets the football for the first time in the second half at their own 20. Doug Chapman straight ahead. Ran into the arms of Matt Balin. And it will be second down at about 9.
A lot of credit to the front 7 for Toledo. Everybody knew that coming into this game they were going to have to give some sort of special attention to Moss. And so they thought that they could take advantage with 7 in the box being able to run, but certainly up to this point they haven't been able to.
Randy Moss, the invite to New York arrived this afternoon. He's going to the Heisman ceremony, 1 of 4.
What a thrill.
He would like to also add to his itinerary a side trip to Detroit. to the Motor City Bowl. Pennington over the middle, and it's picked off. Intercepted. Keith Travis with the pick. The sophomore out of Detroit.
You can see Chad Pennington right there, disgusted with himself. This is a terrible throw. He throws into double coverage and on top throws behind. He's got plenty of time. He's looking at one man trying to get the post route, but look at the double coverage. Travis steps in front, makes the pick. That's one that Pennington wishes that he had back. Take a look here at the double coverage. You have Travis underneath, and up on top is number 11, Kelly Herndon. Travis able to make the pick. Boy, you know what? That's a pretty husky defensive back, and as we mentioned, Pennington knows that's one he shouldn't have thrown.
And it's not good news for Marshall in a sense that when Chad Pennington throws interceptions, they lose football games. In their 2 losses, 4 interceptions in each. And Wallace is going upstairs right away. No one downfield. Wallace trying to make it cut, and he'll pick up a painful 2 yards. Dwayne Lewis chased him down.
You know, it was interesting. You mentioned Dwayne Lewis. You see Travis pretty happy with himself. Hi, Mom. 6'2", 208 pounds. You notice that Wallace didn't slide there. Travis is interesting. You notice that he said, hi, Mom. Dale Murphy once told me a story about that. The reason that players say hi, Mom is that because they know that, you know, dads are supportive, but dads are more supportive when you make great plays. They know that regardless of the kind of plays they make, that their mom's going to love them. So that's why the players say, hi, Mom. Dale Murphy told me that. Honest. True story. That's the reason he said that the players always say, hi, Mom. Because they know that dads love them more with home runs and touchdowns, but Mom will always love them.
He covered all bases there. He made a big play, and he said hi to Mom. Now Toledo on 2nd and 8. It's Harris to the 27-yard line. We're talking about the turnovers and the throws by Pennington, the troubles they've had in the 2 losses. As you see Bob Pruitt, the head coach for the Thundering Herd. Look at the difference in the 9 wins and the 2 losses.
Almost every coach that we talk to throughout the season, when you talk about statistics, one thing that comes up is that turnover ratio. That seems to be a big issue with almost every coach that we visit with.
One of those losses, a painful one in a sense, it was at West Virginia to open the season, and Marshall had a lead in the 4th quarter. Lost that game by 11. On 3rd down, Harris slips and slides down. They may mark him back at the 30-yard line, a loss of 2.
So I'm saying that this is 4-down territory here simply because of what you pointed out earlier. A 47-yard field goal just isn't makeable here. But a punt makes no sense because you'd only gain basically 10 yards unless you've got a kicker that really is able to dink it inside the 5. So I'm thinking that with a great quarterback there, they're going to go for it on 4th.
Ball sitting at the 30-yard line of Marshall University. Toledo a 7-3 lead over the favored Thundering Herd in the MAC championship game. Rockets 0-2 on 4th down today. Make it 0-3. Wallace goes down in the arms of John Grace.
Well, you mentioned at the top, John Grace was their most active linebacker with 5 sacks coming into the game. He certainly shows his speed there. Only 5'11" and 200 pounds. He comes in completely untouched. Great scheme on the part of Marshall, and give the defensive line some credit there for taking up the blockers. He comes in completely unimpeded.
The officials right now are conferring at the 38-yard line. And it looks like a penalty against Marshall.
Well, is it a dead ball foul, though? Is it after the play? This would be the argument.
I'm not sure you could read the official's lips, but you could probably read Bob Pruitt's lips. It might have been either an illegal substitution it was a 4th down and about 6.
Well, Bob Pruitt is pleading his case, and you know what, frankly, I didn't see the flag.
You know, and I'm not sure if it's a 5-yard penalty, it's not a 1st down, Todd. They've got to go further than 5, and they have not marked the ball off yet.
A 5-yard penalty for illegal substitution on the defense. It's a previous spot foul. 5 yards. Replay, 4th down.
4th down and very short. One of the areas in college football they've tried to crack down is having too many men in the huddle before the snap.
Well, this is certainly something that we've seen called a number of times. All we can see is that someone went off the field and then came back on, and that's where they dropped the flag.
And it brings up 4th down and real short. Reynolds in motion. Harris is hit, and the Thundering Herd stop the Rockets.
Well, Harris just slipped.
Ricky Hall made the play.
And they did a great job having all the people in the box knowing that this was going to happen. Harris has the bad foot and can't get going, but once again, you got to give Marshall credit. They were right on top of it. Take a look at the handoff. He's almost nailed right in his tracks. Great penetration on the part of Marshall. So once again, the emotions change. They get their opportunity on offense.
If you're looking for a tough, dependable truck, you should take a closer look at the new Nissan Frontier. It now has more horsepower than Ranger, Tacoma, and S10. It also has a bigger cargo bed than all three, a smoother ride, and lots of features for a surprisingly low price. The rugged new Nissan Frontier. Come check it out for yourself.
Dogs love trucks.
Why is America on America Online?
It puts the whole internet right at my fingertips.
You can send instant messages just like that.
The news is breaking. I've got it now.
I can stay a little closer to my family.
You've got mail.
America Online. Easy to use, friendly menus.
Put in the disk, click, you're online.
And we've been working night and day to more than double capacity and make it even easier.
I got homework help, and my dad thinks I'm a genius.
America Online. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
Why get a buffer just to polish a weather vane? Why buy a drill if you just want to hang mini blinds? Why buy a sander just to unstick a door? Why struggle with a hacksaw just to cut a closet organizer? Wouldn't it be better to have one tool that handles all those jobs and more? Then why not trust the rotary tool more than 10 million people already rely on? The Dremel rotary tool. Ask anyone who knows. It's the real deal. Also available cordless.
It's a feast for college football fans. National Car Rental Bull Week. Coverage begins December 26th, only on ESPN.
Marshall trailing 7-3 with the football and possibly some momentum from that defensive stop. Pennington to Moss, broken up. Clarence Love, the glove, flag down. And I don't think Clarence sees it. Now he does.
Well, he's a little bit disappointed, but again, you know, this is the advantage of being 6'5", 210. You got to come over the top of a big body, and in the contact, the officials are going to see it.
If defensive pass interference, it's a spot foul, automatic 1st down.
Tough on the slant route. There it is. Makes a little bit of move. Comes to the inside. Has the ball. Now watch. Comes over the top.
Oh,
that's awfully
play.
close. Yeah, that's close.
That's a good play.
Man, oh man. I mean, what happens is that automatically, if they see the left arm draped around the waist, they're going to call it. But boy, that's awfully close.
A break for Marshall. And it's 1st and 10. Their own 40. Doug Chapman with a big hole, and Chapman slips and slides across the 50 and into Toledo territory. Jason Lamar made the stop, a 10-yard pickup.
Toledo back on their heels a little bit as a result of the success of that last pass play, even though it was a penalty. Drop back in their zones. Drop play comes forward. Hats are on hats, and that enables Chapman to cut through. You can see once again how bad the footing is. Could have gone another 5 or 6, but that's the treachery of this field at this point.
And one of the problems, Todd, you clear the snow and the AstroTurf isn't wet where it is good traction. It's frozen right now. Pennington over the middle. Colclaw the catch. Inside the 30, down to the 25. LaVorne Colclaw.
We'll give Bob Pruitt credit. This is what he said he wanted to do, is throw the ball across the middle. You can see Pennington nodding in assent. Yes, that was a good idea, Coach. Colclaw, 63 catches, 810 yards, and 9 touchdowns coming into this contest. It's not as if you know, he's not a player. He can certainly make some plays at 6'3", 209 pounds.
He's averaging 73 yards a game. He's got 2 for 22 in this one. Marshall has yet to get into that end zone tonight. A field goal on their opening drive of the first half, and that's it. Pennington with a blitz on the way and a flag and a whistle.
Toledo's getting a little bit confident now because Clarence Love now has been out on Moss these last couple of plays man for man without the double coverage.
It was a dead ball foul. Got a 25-second delay on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Look at the intensity in his face. I tell you, arguably, except for quarterback, the most difficult position to play has to be on corner. Not only do you have to have amnesia, but you got to have all the great athletic ability. And everybody's always talking about the mismatches. The guy's always heavier than you. He's always taller than you. Well, once you get past about 6 feet tall and about 190 pounds, you can't play the corner because you're not quick enough or flexible enough.
Remember, there are some NCAA records at stake for Randy Moss. He has caught a touchdown in 26 consecutive games. Obviously, that hasn't happened tonight. Marshall with the football on the move, down 4 in the MAC title game.
This simple-looking device is the key to unlock your body's hidden potential. It can change the look and shape of every line and curve on your body. Because it's the weight, the challenge, and the secret behind one of the most effective fitness machines in the world. Introducing the Bowflex Power Pro. Bowflex uses patented power rod resistance to give you an incredibly smooth, natural feel for over 60 different health club quality exercises. With features like a built-in aerobic rowing exercise, convertible grips, and convenient folding capabilities, it's easy to see why a Bowflex was selected by Fitness Magazine as the best home gym for 1997 and was awarded a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. It's time to get the body you want with no money down and payments as low as $33 a month. Call right now for your free video and brochure. Discover the body you've always wanted with the Bowflex Power Pro.
ESPN's Punt, Pass, and Sit. Occasionally when viewing Sunday Night NFL, second stringers may arrive with refreshments. Team speed to impact point should result in a turnover. It's ESPN's Sunday Night NFL.
No way. Patino does not get a seat for an ACC game. No way. This is not going to happen.
Don't you touch it.
Marshall down 7-3 in the MAC championship game. Marshall at home at Marshall University Stadium in Huntington, West Virginia. The snow and the ice has made this one rather entertaining. Pennington over the middle. Diving.
Oh, what a head. Oh, my. Oh, yes, indeed. Even on a dry field, I'm telling you, you got to like that catch. He extends himself over the middle, same route as before. Take a look at the extension. All hands catch. Boy, that's tremendous. Trying to do some things over the middle because of the special attention that Moss is getting, and knifing between the two defenders. Coldclaw comes up with a fabulous grab.
Third catch of the day for Coldclaw. Marshall now at the Toledo 13.
Fade territory here.
To the sideline, a tumbling catch by Nathan Poole, and a flag is down.
One of the things that should be occurring here for Marshall, because of the way the defense is set up, designed to get Moss offsides once again. That's about the 4th offsides we've seen. Is that the tight end needs to get involved. They have 4 people responsible in coverage to cover the 2 major people. The tight end can run crosses and hooks all night long because of the middle of the field and the fact that they have to be so conscientious of the other 2 wideouts.
Marshall not real successful at throwing to the tight ends this year. Just 16 balls between the 2 tight ends.
Yeah, but there's a certain point where you have to say, okay, you know, it's not as if we're asking him to run corners or posts and do anything special. Just sit down in the seams in the zone and take advantage. And of course, naturally, that's an old tight end talking.
I was about to say.
Offsides on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
And the replay of first down, the operative word there, Marshall will keep that first down, and it will be first down and 5. If they get inside the 3, it's a first down. Chad Pennington's year, a single season MAC record right now. And he's one behind Tim Couch as far as touchdown passes in a season.
Good opportunity here, though, with the 3 wide receivers set to go with the draw play. That was very effective in the middle of the field. They're set defensively for a pass.
Chapman gets it. Fights his way inside the 5, and he's close to the first down. Greg King at the bottom of the pile with the stop.
You know, we mentioned Moss. Everybody is aware of him, obviously. But one of the things that you have to do here is that you've got to win the football game. I'm wondering at a certain point here after that one fade route if maybe Marshall's not a little bit too conscientious of trying to get him the ball. I think that this young man at this point now, if I'm not mistaken, earlier he had 11 carries for 59 yards. Maybe this is a time. This is like a 4-down situation to get Chapman the ball. Spread everybody out and get him the ball underneath with only the 6 in the box, and I think they'll get it in the end zone.
63 yards now for Chapman. 2nd and 1. They marked it at the 4. Pennington, there's your fade. Moss the touchdown, and the record is intact. 27 straight games. And Marshall has the lead.
And I pretty much know what I'm talking about. That's why I brought up the idea that he probably should run up the middle. I guess when you have a guy that's 6'5", 210 with a 38-inch vertical and runs the 40 and 4.25, you do things that are out of the ordinary. I mean, any other offensive coordinator on the planet on 2nd and 1 inside the 5 is going to run the ball, but instead, well, we've got this super talented person who's going to break a record. Let's throw it up and give him an opportunity, and that's what he did. 23 touchdown receptions in a single season in collegiate football. Absolutely unbelievable.
And a slew of records come with that touchdown catch. Malasevich with the extra point. It's up and it's in, and it's a 10-7 Marshall lead.
Well, this is only his 4th catch. Yes, he does get in the end zone, but take a look at the timing. Obviously, Pennington and Moss have done this more than a few times. He's able to escape Love there, and it's a good throw deep. Take a look. Inside move, then back to the outside, throws over the shoulder. Love has absolutely no chance right there at 5'11". Moss shows the quick feet. This is the thing that sets him apart. 6'5", 210. You're not supposed to be that quick. And of course, you saw the right hand underneath, just a little shove to the ribs. Pennington knows he's got it where he wants it. Touchdown. And let's also mention here, you pointed out the fact that Moss, that now ties, as you pointed out. That's the 37th touchdown pass for Pennington, tying Tim Couch for the national lead at the Division I level.
Randy Moss, a touchdown in 27 straight games, 23 on the season. And Marshall now will kick off. And it will be interesting to see how Chris Wallace and the Toledo offense responds. They moved the football successfully in the first half.
Well, the big difference here is that in the latter part rather of the second quarter, and of course here on that last particular drive, their inability to convert on 3rd and 4th down has really been a problem. Remember earlier in their touchdown drive, they had like 2 or 3 third down conversions.
J.R. Jenkins to kick it. A short hop pickup.
See, I'm sorry, I just don't understand that. I apologize for jumping in the middle. Why don't you kick it deep? Why do you continue to squib kick? Now they're out to the 42-yard line. I mean, that's great field position.
Might not be easy to kick it deep with this field. Sunday, 4 o'clock on ESPN, the College Football Alliance Selection Special. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Kirk Herbstreit. They will kick deep on this show. Brings you all the matchups in the Alliance Bowl.
Oh, wow.
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. No squib kicks there.
That's just a peeve of mine. I just don't understand it.
Dwayne Harris straight ahead. He's out to midfield. And Harris continues to impress. Right at midfield. There's a look at Chad Pennington. Tough to stay warm for the quarterback.
You got to give him a lot of credit, though. He made an atrocious throw the series before on that interception. A lot of times that can make you gun shy. He is, after all, only a sophomore. but he came back, delivered some nice throws down the middle, and of course the touch pass to Moss for the score.
He redshirted last year. Bob Pruitt said they prepared him as if he was starting every game last year when Eric Kresser was here. Play action. Wallace throws it short. His tight end, Mike Billett, who is out of bounds at the 42-yard line. And he took with him someone with a Marshall coda. I'm not sure if that was a coach or a trainer.
You mentioned that he'd been injured, missed the last 3 games. He is a key to their offense. Surprisingly, 18.5 yards per reception for a tight end. That is unbelievable.
Toledo throws to the tight ends. 47 catches amongst their tight ends. You can see it. I'm not sure if this is defense 101A, but the classroom is set up on the Marshall sideline. I guess this would qualify as a final exam. Ray Curry in motion on 1st and 10 for Toledo. And it's Harris again, bouncing off a big hit, but down he goes. Larry McLeod, the man in the middle for the Thundering Herd.
That's about the 3rd time we've seen him do that. You know, so many times you see guys, linebackers, who make big hits coming from the side. This takes a lot of courage to go head on right here. You know he's coming. Look at that. Just delivers the blow, stays with it, gets him by the ankle tackle. Boy, that's a big-time collision. Pow.
Ball at Marshall's 41, 2nd and 9. Wallace gonna go down. John Grace again. 2nd sack for Grace.
They've been doing that play action fake so many times and it's been effective, but this time Grace just didn't buy it. You're going to see number 4. Now watch when the guard pulls out. He's going to go right here. The idea is that he's supposed to get fooled with the misdirection, but he does not. Take a look as the guard pulls out. Now he just goes right for the quarterback knowing, I'm not buying the fake this time. And Grace with a very large loss and a big stack on Wallace.
The 4th time Marshall has been able to get to Wallace. One of them was wiped out by a penalty. Wallace is back on 3rd down and real long. Trying to escape, still on his feet, still with the ball. Wallace throwing, and it's a sliding catch. Mel Long did not make it. Incomplete.
What a great effort, though, by that quarterback. He had no business getting out. He should have been sacked about 2 or 3 different times. The escapability, that it of what you made reference to earlier, Rich. Quarterback's ability, slides to his left, is motioning people downfield. Now right there, how does he get out of that? Cohen has him. He stiff arm him and gets out of it. Throws off the right foot, just couldn't get enough mustard, and the ball right there on the ground. Good call by the official.
I'll tell you how he gets out of it. Great feet.
I knew you were going to say that.
That's what his mother Rita would say.
Moss is deep.
Gabe Lindstrom to punt. He's real deep. You pointed that out in the 1st half. He's a good 50 yards back there. And a good line drive kick. Moss will take it at the 5-yard line. And here he goes. Out to the 17. And Marshall will get it with a 10-7 lead. Next Saturday, 1 o'clock on ESPN2, the Division III Championship from Salem, Virginia. Last year in the Amos Alonzo Stagg Bowl, the finalists, Mount Union and Rowan, and they're in the semis this year. Championship football. It's always fun. The Division II, Division III, NAIA, 1AA.
Rich, we had a flag on the play.
And this will back Marshall up inside their 10. Mark it at the 7.
By the receiving team during the return, half a distance penalty. The 1st down.
Part of the difficulty, and one of the reasons why I think Moss isn't as effective as a returner, is that's a big body to tackle. You know, it's not as if you've got, you know, one of those 5'9" Smurfs that can cut in and out of tacklers. At 6'5", 210, that's just too much body to tackle, even with his great speed. Hence the reason why, as you mentioned earlier, why you thought that maybe he didn't have a kick return for a touchdown. I think that's part of it.
He hasn't returned a kickoff or a punt for a touchdown. Pennington going to go to the air from his goal line, going deep. Moss, incomplete. And Clarence Love was on the scene again.
Stride for stride. Clarence Love's got to feel pretty good. That's where you look back and you, if you're jawing with the receiver, that's where you look back and you say, oh, I'm sorry, is that right? You're 4.25? Well, what does that make me? Because I'm ahead. I'm ahead.
One thing he was ahead of Moss, did a nice job with his body to slow him down.
Now this is interesting too as Moss goes over the top. Isn't it interesting that if a defender does the same thing, it's usually interference, but the offensive player can do it anytime he wants.
That was more contact than on Love's interference.
Yep.
Marshall faced with 2nd down and 10 at their own 7-yard line. Pennington, that one is incomplete. Flags down, and Clarence Love again is the guilty party.
And he feels like he can't get a break. This time it's the right arm that appears to come in a little bit early, but it appears to me he's not having the same level of argument that he did on the other one.
We'll review the evidence in a moment. First team All-MAC pick, Clarence Love. Some say the best cover guy in this conference.
Well, if tonight is any indication, I'd have to concur with it.
Spot foul, automatic first down.
Here's a look. You play judge and jury.
1, 2, 3. Here comes the slant route. Watch the right hand as it come in. Once again, it's the hand around the waist. The hand around the waist was there a little bit too soon, but you know, you have to wonder sometimes, as you mentioned, is that much of a deterrent? But that's what the official saw, and he dropped the flag, and twice Love's been caught for that.
Pennington going to go deep, hook and go, looking for Moss. He's got it. Clarence, can you catch me? No, he's going to go.
Man, oh man, oh man.
Flag down. He'll get flagged for excessive celebration on the score.
And why is it? Oh man, I tell you what. Love, they timed that perfectly. Love is on him man for man. He just came off the interference. He's a little bit frustrated. His mind is distracted. Pennington goes right to him. Moss beats him up at the line of scrimmage, gives him a right to the jaw, gets open on the fade, able to make the catch over the shoulder, and he shows the blazing speed. But what I was about to say, and I don't want to be too personal here, but why isn't success enough? Why isn't it enough just to get in the end zone and score? Why do you have to do that at the end? I just really think that mars an otherwise tremendous athletic play. But I guess I'm always reminded when I see something like that, as someone pointed out to me, Dizzy Dean was famous in 1934 when he won his 30 games of saying, it ain't bragging if you can do it, and Moss certainly can deliver the goods.
Of course, they never flagged Diz, but they flagged Randy Moss, 86 yards on the touchdown. The score counts, they'll back up the point.
And right at the end of the play, it was interesting because both officials went, I mean, at the 5-yard line, threw the flags right away.
For Moss, 24th touchdown catch of this season. For Pennington, 38th. And that is the Division I lead.
This is a very missable extra point, by the way.
Yeah, it's turned into a 35-yard field goal from Alice Evans. But on a night where things are starting to go right for Marshall, the kicking game all of a sudden, which has been a problem all year long, has been solved.
Think of all the stereotypes when you think of receivers. You think of the blazing speed guys, and they're kind of smurfy. You think of the possession guys, they're a little bit bigger, they run the good routes. Think about somebody that has the entire package. The hands, the speed, the quickness, the ability to run routes, to do the things that are necessary to get it done. That's Randy Moss. Gets off the line of scrimmage, beats his man. Look at the ball over. This is a difficult catch over the outside shoulder, but he extends himself, sticks in the hands, now shows the blazing speed. Love is able to, for a little bit there, to get a hand on him, but right there he puts it into that gallop. Cuts back against him, and right there does something that's completely unnecessary. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that that's not going to affect his draft status.
You don't think so, huh?
Right there.
17-7, Marshall on top of Toledo now, as the Thundering Herd have struck twice, with Randy Moss hooking up with Chad Pennington. It was a 7-3 Toledo lead at halftime. Two plays, 93 yards, and remember the call on Clarence Love.
Certainly it affected him. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He had to be coming out there thinking about it, and right away he's got to deal with the guy who goes the distance.
The Thundering Herd respecting Todd Christensen's views on kickoff to Ray Curry. Deep, and Curry is out across the 30-yard line. Down to the sidelines, Chris Marlowe.
All right, speaking of draft status, I spoke with ESPN draft expert Mel Kiper this week, and he gave me his top 5 right now. Peyton Manning, 4 great years. Ryan Leaf, the most physical quarterback in the draft. Andre Wadsworth, the great defensive end from Florida State. Charles Woodson, Mr. Everything, and Randy Moss. Now, according to Mel Kiper, the big deal with Randy Moss is the character issue. He's had problems in the past. If those problems are indeed in the past, he will be a high draft choice, make a lot of money. But if those problems are not in the past, if he has any Lawrence Phillips into him, his draft stock could plummet. Back to you.
Chris Wallace, bumbling, stumbling, and throwing. And he bounced that one to Mace Freeman. Incomplete.
Getting back to Moss, I think that is a concern. And certainly, you know, I'm being a little bit facetious when I mention the fact that it doesn't affect his draft status because of his great athletic ability. But that is a concern now, is because he's going to get to the next level, and there are going to be some people that can, you know, that can play with him. You know, here right now he's dominant because of his great physical ability. You know, and there is something to be said for that. Although I will say of the 5 people that he had listed there, you could argue that say that Moss, of those 5, would make the most instant contribution.
Absolutely, especially with 2 quarterbacks at the top of the list. Good call. Dwayne Harris across the 35 to the 37. He's short of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 4.
Only down by 10 points here. They can afford to do that. They need to integrate the running game here and not give Marshall the opportunity, particularly their defensive line, to get in the white knuckle stance and pin their ears back and just come.
It's been a struggle for Toledo and Gary Pinkel on 3rd down. 3 of 11 right now, and 0 of 6 on their last 3 opportunities. And Chris Wallace has been sacked, and when he's sacked, Todd, it's been for 15, 20 yards. He's lost some big yardage on sacks tonight. Mace Freeman in motion. Here comes the blitz. Wallace will dump it off, and it's incomplete. His receiver, Freeman, fell down.
Well, Freeman had kind of a swirl route, which requires you to run across and then cut back. And the problem with that, obviously, on this field, that just isn't going to happen. But I think that Kevin Kelly is feeling a lot more confident about his defensive group and his cover people in particular, because he's been coming with 6 and 7 people a lot on 3rd down. Hence the reason why now they're 0 for their last 7 on 3rd down conversions.
And that Toledo defense has been out on the field an awful lot in its 3rd quarter. On their way out in a moment. Randy Moss is deep for this Gabe Lindstrom punt. It lands at the 15 and is down at the 7-yard line after the triple jump effort
by Kelly
Herndon.
He was excited. That's cute.
Down to the sidelines, Chris Marlowe.
All right, as you might imagine, there are plenty of pro scouts here tonight. Panthers, Steelers, Saints, Cards, Giants, Falcons, Vikings, and they're all watching the man, the wide receiver with the great hands, the intelligence, the vocabulary, our own Todd Christensen. Will he come out of retirement? Back to you.
I think, Chris, there's a serious character question.
Oh, man.
Coming from the National Football League, who all look very comfortable. This is a very modern stadium, just built about 5 years ago. They have luxury suites and a beautiful press box, and Moss, proving that he is mortal, drops that swing pass. This is not the facility that Marshall played its games through the 60s, 70s, and early 80s. Built in 1991, it holds 30,000, and it's been a very difficult place to play for a road team. The last football game Marshall lost here was the 95 National Championship game, the 1AA game against Dave Dickinson and his Montana Grizzlies.
Well, since they've had the new stadium, they're 61-4. That's pretty impressive.
Marshall, their own 10. It's a draw. Chapman across the 20, and he's out to the 23-yard line.
Well, coming into this game, Chapman had been averaging 5.8 yards a carry. And now, if I'm not mistaken, he's well over 80 yards on his way to a 100-yard night. 13 carries for 77, rather. Nearly 6 yards of carry. Good drop play. Breaks the one tackle. Gets out there and tries. You know what? I think he did that intentionally. He wanted to get on the part of the AstroTurf where there was no snow.
This truly is a gridiron. Pennington, the throw, and he overthrows his man. Mark Wicks, the senior, was out in the flats.
Misdirection play like the one where Wallace was sacked. James Ross, defensive end, right in his face, forcing him to throw that ball a little bit wide. Green and white mouthpiece, that's interesting. Color coordinated.
It's the color of choice around these parts. Marshall with a 10-point lead. And Chad Pennington does not like what he sees, and he will burn a timeout. Second one that Marshall has used. They have just one left. 17-7. Thundering Herd on top of the Toledo Rockets.
Kind of a danger here for Marshall is the fact that now with the 10-point lead and the big plays and everything else that has gone their way, that they start to play here, playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win.
Sunday, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Barry Sanders and the Detroit Lions take on the Miami Dolphins. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann and company. I'm not sure that Sanders can duplicate what we saw last night from Corey Dillon.
Wow.
Of the Cincinnati Bengals, the rookie out of Washington.
Yeah, we should offer congratulations to him. That's quite an achievement, breaking a 40-year record by the great Jim Brown.
Big difference. How come?
I think one of the things is the offense in particular has made some adjustments with the double coverage and some of the things that they were doing earlier with that man, Randy Moss. And let's not forget, it was Colclough that made the big catches early in that drive to get them their initial touchdown.
Some hardy fans just about filling Marshall University Stadium. Pennington off the timeout now, still faced with 2nd and 10 at his own 24.
Should mention here that Pennington is an all-MAC academic, member of the all-academic team, 3.64 in journalism.
With time to Chapman across the 35. He's got a first down. Marcus Matthews made the stop.
When you have to spend the four defenders on the wide receivers as effective as they are, underneath is going to be open. The tight ends and the running backs. Take a look as he floats out to the right. There's really nobody there. You can see that everybody has backed up to cover the wide outs and the tight end, and Chapman able to get a first down as a result.
13 yards on the throw. Marshall trying to get to the Motor City Bowl. It's been a long time since the Thundering Herd have been to a bowl game. And this is Chapman across the 40, slides in safely to the 45-yard line. A gain of 8.
Tim Nunez pressuring all the right buttons at this point. The drop play has been effective because certainly Toledo has to backpedal and cover those wide receivers. Looks downfield. Chapman able to find the gaps. Good job by the interior of the offensive line for Marshall to let him get started. Jason Richards comes from the back and drags him down, but not before he picks up a good 8 yards.
You got to go back to 1948, the Tangerine Bowl. Catawba beat him 7-0. Low Turner out to the 48-yard line. And he picks up the first down. Interesting story about that Tangerine Bowl. Marshall loses the game. 2 of their best players also played on the basketball team, which incidentally had a road trip to the West Coast in the sunshine. They decided to go with the basketball team. How about that? I'm not sure had they stayed it would have made a difference though, Todd.
I don't know.
Catawba was very good back in 48.
Yeah. You were all over that, right?
Yeah. The Thundering Herd in charge here in the second half. Low Turner again. And this time He ends right at midfield. Not much of a gain. Second down and about 10. The Toledo Rockets had a 7-3 lead at halftime. There's a flag down right now. And it looks like it's going against Marshall.
With holding on the offense during the play. It's a 10-yard penalty. It'll be a spot foul. First down.
They'll back it to the 38-yard line.
Well, this sets them back a little bit. Certainly the thing that they wanted to do, that they've been doing at this point, is taking some time off the clock and removing or forcing fewer opportunities for Wallace on the other side to work his magic.
That may have been the final play of the third quarter as they restart the clock after stepping off the penalty.
Well, for those people that felt that they were cheated by not getting a chance to see the best of Moss in the first half, well, they were able to see it some in the third quarter. Here comes the fade route over Clarence Love. Terrific throw by Pennington, and right there, he goes the distance. 86 yards. He's styling at the end, but so is the herd.
Dreams. That's what it's all about, dreams, and to believe that you can reach them. I had no idea of playing baseball for a living because all the people I saw playing was white. That's Oscar Charleston.
Okay, put Oscar in his column.
All right.
Now you have a baseball card.
People want to know the history of Negro League baseball. I want to move the logo down on Satchel Paige's chest. I'm playing with some of the greatest athletes that ever lived. Oscar Charleston, Buck Leonard, Satchel Paige. I wish you could have seen them.
You got the internet?
I don't have the internet. This should be passed on. I would sell baseball cards over the internet. Huh?
You could.
Who ever heard of the internet? The whole world will be able to see and hear what I'm saying. That's progress. Yeah, the grandson of a slave. Progress. Woo! And a lot of things happen to you in 85 years, man.
Ice Sport, the cool, fresh scent of exhilaration. In aftershave and deodorants, new from Aquavelva.
Do you ever just have one of those days? Well, at Farmers Insurance, everything we do is about getting things back to normal. Isn't that what insurance is supposed to do? Farmers, get you back where you belong.
Pizza?
Hey, who delivered?
Actually, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. Where's it from? I believe I said it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno. You just say delivered? It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
DiGiorno Rising Crust Pizza is the frozen pizza with a crust that bakes up fresh like pizzeria pizza.
Bite you for it. Don't make me hurt you.
For fresh baked pizza at home, it's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
It could be the rock hopper or that fuzzy frog. It could be anything on your Discover card statement, because everything you buy with your Discover card this holiday could win you one of 10 family vacations to Universal Studios Hollywood. It pays to discover.
Welcome back to the MAC championship game. Marshall 17, Toledo 7. Rich Waltz, Todd Christensen, Chris Marlowe on a snowy night and a cold one in Huntington, West Virginia. The Marshall Thundering Herd down at halftime, putting 14 points on the board in the third quarter. And now Chad Pennington goes to work in the fourth. Swings it out for Mark Wicks, who makes the catch and goes down hard at the 43-yard line. Matt Valent made the stop.
Well, the numbers are considerably different here in the third quarter statistically. And of course, a lot of that has to do with what has happened in the passing game for Marshall. They only had 145 total yards at halftime. You can see right now their total yards have jumped considerably. 145 of that in the third quarter in the passing game.
Both touchdowns, throws from Chad Pennington to Randy Moss. One of 4 yards, one of 86 yards. Little inside toss to Coldclaw, who breaks loose and is still on his feet. Coldclaw into Toledo territory to the 45-yard line.
We mentioned the fact that both wide receivers for Marshall are big people, 6'5", 210, and 6'3", 209. And as a result of that, they get that yak stat that seems to be so popular now, i.e. yards after the catch. You can see there, Coldclaw does just that, breaking through a couple of tackles and setting up a very makeable 3rd and 3.
And Marshall obviously conscious of the clock. They'd like to run as much of it off as they can. Toledo needs to get the football back in the hands of Chris Wallace. And it's a defense, a Rocket defense, that has been on the field an awful lot in the second half. Doug Chapman, flags and whistles.
Left tackle moved.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
We were talking, I was going to say, we were talking a little bit about the crowd reaction there, in so much that, you know, they get excited in the 3rd quarter. But Toledo's still only down 10. And Wallace is very, very capable of creating some big plays on his own if this defense can hold him here.
Bob Pruitt told us this week that his players, including Chad Pennington, are very much accustomed to playing postseason type games. They did it in the tournament in 1AA football. And so this is right up their alley, Todd.
Yeah, nothing new.
They're used to going 12, 13, 14, 15 games deep. Another flag down. This one is broken up, and a diving play by Rashid Sumter. And flags come down. Oh. Late flags from deep in the secondary.
Very late flags.
We have offsides on the defense, and we also have pass interference on the defense.
Pick your poison.
Well, certainly they're going to take the pass interference because that's for the automatic 1st down. Coach Pinkel has to feel like he's a little bit snake bit at this point. He can't seem to get a call there when it doesn't seem that obvious. Take a look at the end. Here's the plant coming over the top. Once again, what they see is that left arm over the top. That's what the official sees, and that's when he throws the flag. In this case, Sumter.
Rashid Sumter, 3rd interference call on that Toledo backfield. 2 had been on Clarence Love.
Well, that one was particularly costly because 3rd and 8.5. Difficult to convert.
You're right.
A gift.
And the offsides does not mean a 1st down. It would have been 3rd and 3. Just inside the 40. Marshall on the move with the lead. Pennington got his man. It's Wicks who pays the price but holds on. 1st down, Thundering Herd.
Great catch because he knows he's going to get clobbered right in the middle of the field. Pennington throws this a little bit softly, trying to get the touch. Wicks right there is able to brace himself. Sumter drops him, but he's able to hang on to the ball. Nice catch. Watch this right there, pow, simultaneously, but he's able to hang on. That's where in the film room they go, attaboy. That's excellent. Way to go.
On 1st and 10, Chapman. And that offensive line, that big offensive line of Marshall, starting to wear down Toledo.
Have you ever been in a game where they actually called the flag on that play, which is the offensive line assists the runner, and you know that that's in the rule book, but it never gets called? On this play, Chapman gets stood up at about a 3-yard gain. Now watch all the green shirts that come in to help him. Okay, busts through the line. Now he's held up. Now watch all the green shirts come in and push him forward. Knocking him forward for the extra yardage.
You know, I think to get that flag, you have to pick the guy up and throw him over the line.
I guess. Well, you know, they were blocking the guys around him, but certainly they had some assistance putting their hands in the back of number 22.
Pennington into the end zone for Moss, and he couldn't get it. Clarence Love with the play.
See, by this point, when things aren't going well, this is when a cornerback really has to raise the level of his game. It's easy when things are going well early on, when he had 1 catch for 18 yards to style. But now that he's made some plays, is he going to fall down? Is he going to give up? No. Love is with him stride for stride and bats the ball away. I think that shows the resilience of the youngster, and certainly at that position, you have to have some resilience, because I don't care how good you are as a corner, you're going to get beat.
2 pass breakups, a fumble recovery, a forced fumble, and 4 tackles for Clarence Love. And his night is not done. Chapman spinning close to the first down. He needed 3. He may have gained it.
It's going to be interesting that in the papers tomorrow, if Marshall were to hold on and win, you know, Moss will get the headlines, Pennington, you know, for his touchdown passes and all the things that he's done. But the guy that's been moving the sticks here you know, late in the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter has been Chapman.
Doug Chapman coming in 88 yards per game. 95 right now on 16 carries. Pennington from the 12, swing pass is incomplete, very close to a lateral, and it will bring up 2nd down.
That's about the 4th time they've tried that play. You know, they've tried it with Coldclaw, they've tried it with Moss, but it's been ineffective. And Pennington's trying to explain to him the angle of things and why that didn't work. He's 16 for 29, 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nothing like an 86-yard throw, though, you know, to beef up your stats, huh?
It was a good throw, but obviously a great run by Moss. A lot of yaks on that one. Yards after the catch. Pennington. From the Toledo 12, Chapman again to the 8. Short of the first down. It'll bring up a rather interesting 3rd down.
Gee, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think they might throw the fade. But then again, maybe that's too predictable. But when you have an athlete of that caliber, I'd isolate him on the one side, throw the fade, and take a shot at a jump ball.
The football at about the 8, 3rd down and 6. Pennington waiting, throwing, full clock, can't get it. Rashid Sumter on the coverage.
Well, Coldclaw was the inside receiver. Moss was on the outside, and Moss drew the double coverage. He has kind of a deep slant route near the end, and you can see right there he's patting himself on the chest saying, that's my fault. Wasn't able to deliver the ball where I needed to. Take a look right here. Moss is going to draw the double coverage. Here are the 2 people right there. Coldclaw underneath right here. He's open. The ball's just thrown a little bit too far, even though it appeared that tough catch.
Boy, for a second I thought Chris Marlowe went down and went down hard. But it wasn't Chris. Thank goodness. Billy Malasevich, his 2nd attempt. And this one is up and good. Marshall University played 11 football games this year and made just 2 field goals, least in the nation. Tonight, they've hit 2, and they lead Toledo 20-7.
What are you guys doing? What are you doing? Hey, you know, the only time you guys yell box out is when you're out of donut. You guys remind me of my shoe closet. I got 1 penny and a bunch of loafers.
You can only survive on what you find in the forest. We'll meet in 5 days here. And good luck.
The Honda CR-V has its own picnic table, waterproof storage compartment, and 2 power outlets.
for those times when you have to ref it.
I love nature.
ESPN presentation of the 1997 Mid-America Conference Football Championship is brought to you by Honda, vehicles designed to help simplify your life.
The snow keeps falling, and Marshall keeps scoring here in the second half. A 20-7 lead over the Toledo Rockets in the MAC championship game. Winner goes to Detroit, where it might be snowing when they get there, but they have a roof on the Pontiac Silverdome. J.R. Jenkins will kick it off. Romaine Davis almost stepped out of bounds. And maybe he wishes he had. He got hit pretty good. Down to the 27-yard line. Down to the sidelines. Chris Marlowe.
All right, the latest in fall fashion from Huntington, West Virginia. Check it out.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know what you think.
All
This
right.
is a head-turning, eye-catching lid. It's brand new, hot off the presses. It should be under every Christmas tree this season. Back to you.
Chris Marlowe, always a fashion plate.
He looks like one of those guys in the operas.
Oh,
you know, with the horn?
Always on the cutting edge. If you're the Toledo Rockets now, Todd, you have to get something going.
Well, 10.5 minutes left. You know, they're 2 touchdowns down. They can still run the ball, but Wallace needs to make a couple of big plays here.
In trouble, running for his life, and it's incomplete. And landing on top of him was Ricky Hall.
Well, the second half possessions for Toledo just have not warranted much of anything. You can see there 3 punts, and of course they lost it on downs. The magic that Wallace had there in the first quarter and first half of the second quarter seems to have gone away, or rather has been stymied by the great pursuit of the front 7 of Marshall's defense. He's just 4 of his last 15.
Wallace has time, dumps it off. Dwayne Harris the catch, and he'll gain about 7 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down at about 3. Wallace has engineered from some late second heroics this year versus Miami and Eastern Michigan. Toledo had to go length of the field at the end to win it, and they did both times.
One of the things that they haven't thrown up to this point, which might work, would be a screen pass. That could certainly, you know, keep them away from all the blitzes that they've engineered here the last couple of times.
3rd and 2. To the sidelines. Mel Long with the catch, and then the drop. And it's 4th down. B.J. Summers on the coverage. We've spent a lot of time talking about Clarence Love, but B.J. Summers on the corner for Marshall's had a good game.
Had a couple of pass breakups and had some big hits, and this is no exception right here. Long has the ball, but watch Summers with the big hit separate him from the football. Good call by the official. It was not a completed pass, and as you pointed out, Summers playing a terrific football game.
Toledo having to punt again, and Gabe Lindstrom will send it towards Randy Moss.
Now down 2 touchdowns with 9:38 left. This might not be an awful time for a fake.
No fake here, and not a great kick. It'll roll inside the 35, and right now, 9.5 minutes separates the Marshall Thundering Herd from the MAC title.
Get ready to get creative. Get into a Rebel G. Capture your imagination on film. Let Rebel take you beyond snapshots and experience the ultimate rush.
Cool.
Rebel G, and only EOS lenses from Canon.
When sports cream? When legs are sore. When backs ache. When muscles hurt. Wise Sports Cream? Rubbing it in brings fast pain relief. No medicine-y smell. Wise Sports Cream? Because it works.
Just hold this and you know you're going to get a close shave.
Remington introduces the new shape in shaving.
The angle to the face, just right.
Can't believe I'm in love with an electric. But look at this shave.
Remington's new dual microscreen, built to shave incredibly close.
And they guarantee it.
It's a feast for college football fans. National Car Rental Bull Week. Coverage begins December 26th, only on ESPN.
20-7, Marshall on top of Toledo. Rich Waltz, Todd Christensen, Chris Marlowe, and about 30,000 bundled up Marshall fans. And the Thundering Herd now trying to run some clock. Little inside screen for Nathan Poole, who has the catch and is across the 45-yard line out to the 47. The Thundering Herd not being real conservative with this 20-7 lead.
Well, as we pointed out, you know, they've decided at this point to say that we're going to play to win. Pennington, the last time they ran this play, it wasn't as effective because the timing was off. This time it was right on the money. Catching the ball and making the most of his opportunity. Poole cuts back. He says, forget about the traction and forget about the fact of holding on to the ball. You know, he's got it loose out there, but he wants to make the most of his opportunity. Fun to see that. Good opportunity for that youngster.
Well, heck, if you're a wide receiver and your name's not Randy Moss, anytime you can see the football, that's a good deal. Good point. Pennington to the sidelines. He's spreading it out again. Gerald Long, the catch, still on his feet. And out of bounds he goes. He's got a first down.
Now, how was he able to stay in bounds with this traction? I mean, that was really impressive. I thought for sure that he'd slide out of bounds there, but take a look here as he cuts underneath, catches the ball. Now watch right here. With the one hand, no less. Bounces on the one leg, does his flamingo thing, and able to cut forward and get the first down.
And it's a first down for Marshall as they mark it at about the 42-yard line. Gerald Long caught 17 balls. There's a lot of talent aside from Moss. We've talked about it. And the wide receiver core, it's a young group. And with Chad Pennington being just a sophomore, he'll have Long, Poole, and Coleclaw to throw to next year. Doug Chapman inside the 35-yard line.
Here's what's impressive. Pennington is on the verge of going over 300 yards passing, and now Chapman just went over 100 yards rushing. Don't forget, in the first half, at the end of the first half, total yardage for Marshall was 145 yards. So the offense has really asserted itself here in the second half.
106 now for Chapman. They averaged 445 yards per game. First in the MAC. On 2nd and 3. Chapman close to the first down. And Chapman's just a sophomore.
Hey, you mentioned some of the talent coming back. I was going to mention that. If I'm not mistaken, his backup is also an underclassman, isn't he?
You got it. Low Turner. He's a sophomore.
But they are going to lose Mark Zban.
Backup quarterback to Chad Pennington. Just two off the offensive line, John Wade and Brian Reed. And I think, and I'm jumping ahead here, that if Marshall does go to the Motor City Bowl, they'll give anybody a game.
Might be fun to watch if indeed the selection committee can procure Notre Dame.
Pennington, Moss makes the catch with Clarence Love all over him.
Now, it's interesting at that point when you can see, I don't want to say that's a concession. When Love actually helps Moss up, that has to tell you something. Sure, it's grudging respect, but it's also a situation here where maybe, you know, the fight is just out of him a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Here's the slant route, effective. Once again, the difficulty there is that Love is in pretty good coverage. I mean, he's right there, but that 6'5", 210-pound body is in the way. Excuse me, go ahead.
150 yards on 6 catches and 2 touchdowns for Randy Moss. Into the end zone, jump ball, Randy Moss, got it! Touchdown! Make that 3 touchdowns.
It's amazing if you're a quarterback how confident you can be with the receiver of that level of talent. The play was completely fouled up. The timing of it was wrong, and Pennington said, you know what, I'm throwing it up there anyway, and let's see what the guy can do.
And Marshall is taking control of this football game. They'll add the point and try to stretch it to 20. Malasevich with the extra point. It's 27-7, and it looks like the Thundering Herd are going bowling.
Now, how many times does a guy actually live up to the hype when he's promoted as he is? You're going to see right here on the slant, the timing is a little bit off, but right now he just decides to throw it up. What the heck? And up he goes. Makes the catch. 3 touchdowns. What a night.
I rolled the dice for $8.
I unloaded my Tonka for $12.
We went to Club Med for $18.
Smart investors know it. You get seriously low commissions and really fast trades with Ameritrade. Internet trade for $8. Touch-tone trade for $12. Or trade with a broker just $18.
I just sold a ton of steel for $8.
And that's one low price per trade, no matter how many shares you trade. Just call 1-800-592-3202.
I sold the store for $12.
Plus, your first 5 trades are commission-free when you open an account with Ameritrade. Call 1-800-592-3202 or visit our website.
Traded my Fiat for BMW. Unloaded BMW for Mercedes. All before lunch.
Ameritrade. The way to trade. Period.
Ben Franklin discovered electricity in the sky, but he didn't know that it could be found on ice. He never watched hockey, and now he's dead. Watch the NHL on ESPN2 before life passes you by.
The Randy Moss Show, better known as the MAC Championship, continues. 27-7. Marshall on top of Toledo. 3 touchdown catches, all in the second half for that man. He's got 25 on the season now. And don't forget, Chad Pennington has now thrown for 39. Let's go down to the sidelines. Chris Marlowe. Chris?
With me, the commissioner of the MAC, Jerry Ippoliti. Jerry, your thoughts on Randy Moss and this championship game?
Well, Randy's just an exceptional athlete. You'd think that the weather would slow him down, but he's executed extremely well. We couldn't have a better championship. Unfortunately, the weather was not in our favor, but it's a great setting. We had the best against the best, and it's truly remarkable how both these teams have competed under these circumstances.
How much would it mean to the MAC to play a big-time bowl opponent, say a Notre Dame?
Well, we've never had that opportunity before, and we're looking forward to it. There's a crack and an opening, and hopefully we have that opportunity.
Thanks a lot, Jerry. Congratulations on a great season. We'll see you a little bit later.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Thank you, Chris. Dwayne Harris spinning out to the 41-yard line. And with 6.5 minutes left, a minor miracle, maybe not a minor miracle, must take place for Toledo to get back in it. Hurry up offense. Wallace from the shotgun, and he goes down. B.J. Cohen got him. Loose ball. It's scooped up.
Paul Totten is the man.
And it's down to the 20-yard line. Totten
You know, it seems to be a little bit poetic justice for Totten simply because of the fact that he's hustled so much all night without getting to the quarterback, getting a sack. And finally, because of Cohn, he's able to come up with a fumble recovery. Wallace trying to make something happen. He looks. Cohen strips the ball from him. There's Totten who picks it up, wants to make the most of his opportunity, rumbling and stumbling, to use the phrase of an ESPN guy, and down he goes.
B.J. Cohen, 12 sacks now in the season. That's the 4th time they've been able to get Chris Wallace.
There was a personal foul at the end, some fisticuffs that went against Toledo. So that's half the distance to the goal line down at the 10.
Frustrating night. Frustrating second half for that man, Chris Wallace, who will be back. He's just a junior. Movement and flags. And it will cost Toledo 5.
Oh, they got contact on the defense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
I'm trying to resist the temptation to say when it rains it pours, so I won't.
Coming up next, NHL Tonight. Certainly this is a setting that Barry Melrose would feel comfortable with. Though I don't think they own a Zamboni here in Huntington. They could have used one tonight. 6.5 left in this one. And Marshall about to increase the lead. Cold claw in motion. And it's Chapman. Chapman is in. Touchdown, Marshall.
Well, that seems only fair. Randy Moss was able to take advantage and get a couple of short touchdown passes, the byproduct of his efforts. And going over 100 yards and having the game that he's had, it seems only fair that Chapman should get a 6. (33-7). Offensive line asserted itself on that particular play. When the defensive linemen are not able to make contact at the line of scrimmage inside the 5, that's dominance on the part of the offensive line. Chapman, 20 carries, 115 yards, and a touchdown.
Malasevich. 34-7, the Thundering Herd headed towards Detroit.
Well, all the star players for Marshall have come through. Pennington, Moss, and now Chapman as he's in for the touchdown.
Every so often, something new comes along that makes people go back to rethink. Go back to reconsider. Go back to the drawing board. Introducing the larger, more powerful Accord. An Accord like no other. From Honda.
Time can be stopped. Timex Ironman Triathlon watches keep going.
I'm Simon Woodruff, and what I do is Yo Sushi. Technology for us is about learning our own business. Nobody in their right mind would open a restaurant if you look at the figures. We have to find a new supplier for seaweed. Just a very quickly seared tuna. I don't actually come from a restaurant background. I come with an open mind.
The Thundering Herd living up to that here in the second half, dominating this football game 34-7. They lead the Rockets of Toledo. With 6.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. J.R. Jenkins. The kick. Romaine Davis. out to his 28-yard line. Monday night, 7:30 on ESPN. NFL Prime Monday. Highlights, numbers, analysis from all the weekend's games. And then at 9 o'clock, ABC's Monday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys and the Carolina Panthers. All on Monday night on ESPN and then on ABC.
Would you have envisioned that both those teams would be 6 and 7 at that point, at this point?
Spinning is Harris. Wow. And he stays on his feet, and he's out close to midfield to the 48-yard line. A nice effort by Dwayne Harris.
Really was. I think that he's excited just to be on the field and get to play after all the time that he's missed. A very different team without him. Cuts through the line right here. Thought he'd go down there, but he spins off again. 3 different spins. Look at that head first. Boy, nice run.
A yard short of 100, and he has it there. So he's over 100 yards now. Toledo, the celebration is not started yet. No refrigeration needed for that cake, by the way. That will keep until February around here. Wallace, the throw is incomplete. Mel Long couldn't make the catch.
You know, in the second half, to show you the difference, the first half 7 of 15, 177 yards and a touchdown. In the second half, 4 for 11, a mere 36 yards. And you know, you can't be talking about the elements all the time here. I mean, the reality is that they made some adjustments. A lot of credit has to go to Kevin Kelly and his defensive staff for the adjustments that they made for Toledo.
Gary Pinkel's team came out on fire in the first half, moved the football. It's been the Randy Moss, Chad Pennington. That show in the second half. This is Wallace scrambling to the 40, and on 3rd down, he's going to pick up a first down. Thought I want to take a moment just to step back and just to mention where this Marshall football program has been. I mean, you go back to the early 70s, the tragic plane crash that took the lives of 75 players, coaches, staff. They rebuilt the program into a 1AA power. Bob Pruitt winning a national championship last year in what Jim Donnan helped build here. He went on to Georgia. And here they are, their first year of Division I football, and they're headed to the postseason, and rightfully so.
I think that's very impressive. Going 9-2, that is the record that they had. As you get a chance to see the plane wreck, something that was just catastrophic for the university and the community.
They still have a monument.
And those of you that had a chance to read the article in Sports Illustrated a little while back regarding that some of the players, some of the people involved with that organization still can't come to the games. It's just too hard for them.
There were players and some staff that did not take the chartered flight back from East Carolina, and you're right. They've tried to come to a game. They get to the entrance of the stadium, can't go in.
Well, Bob Pruitt remembers it well, and he takes great pride in the fact that he has been a part of it for so very many years, and now to have it be at a pinnacle right now as successful as it has been, it's a great deal of pride for him as well as the community.
Bob Pruitt played both ways for this team back in the early 60s. Down goes Harris on a play by Larry Moore. That was a 3rd down play, and on 4th down, Toledo obviously going to go for it. And the Thundering Herd will take their show north.
Grayson on that particular tackle, he's a guy that's had a terrific game. A lot of tackles for loss, a couple of sacks. He's been all over the field. Again, a guy that you document at the top. He's a terrific linebacker, and he's come through.
4th down, 6. Wallace in trouble. He goes down for the 5th time. Paul Toviesi, the freshman. And Marshall will get the football. They can run the clock out and make those reservations.
Well, the very thing that we talked about in the first half has been non-existent in the second half, and that was the protection. The offensive line for Toledo had been very good in making sure that they were keeping people off of Wallace, but in the second half has been a different story. The front 7 for Marshall has really asserted itself.
Todd, I know you've waited for this. Mark Zeban, the senior, gets a chance to play now backup quarterback, has watched Chad Pennington all season long. And he'll get a chance on this final drive of the MAC championship game.
Good for him.
Mark Wicks in motion. And it's Low Turner who drops the ball. It's loose, and it's picked up and then dropped again. And I think Toledo has it. They do. Derek Beckwith came up with the ball. James Ross was chasing it as well.
Well, that's an inauspicious debut for Z-Ban, who wasn't able to quite get the handoff. Basic dive play. Can't quite get there. And Turner not able to come up with the ball, and now the circus begins. The ball is stripped, coming up from behind. That's actually a pretty nice catch by Ross, but then he gives the ball back. Actually, it ended up being Beckwith who had recovered.
And Toledo right back on offense. Wallace going to go to the end zone, and it is almost caught. Brock Kreitzberg almost with a highlight film catch.
B.J. Summers with him stride for stride, though.
You know, that's one thing Toledo has not been able to do, is get the football to their wide receivers early in the first half.
Well, Wallace just hasn't had the time. But again, here's Summers, man for man, gets pushed off a little bit, but fights back. Tries and gets away. Ball obviously bounced there. You didn't really see that, did you? That's cute.
On 2nd and 10. Wallace again for the end zone for Mel Long, who makes the catch for a Toledo touchdown. Flags down.
Well, that was great concentration. See what the flag is. Great catch by Long. Took a whack in the end zone and held on.
Personal foul against Marshall.
Was that a late hit? Looked to me like he was just trying to separate him from the ball. Take a look. He looks left. Comes back right. Throws the ball, and let's take a look at Long's catch. 1-2 catch. What? But again, the second foot getting down. That's kind of close. I mean, you got to see if you can separate the guy from the ball, but certainly did. Long with a great catch.
Chris Merrick for the extra point. It's up and good. A little too late, though, for the Toledo Rockets. Marshall on their way to a bowl game. (34-14). Marshall on top of Toledo. 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter of the MAC championship game. Marshall on their way to the Motor City Bowl on December 26th, 8 o'clock, Pontiac, Michigan, on ESPN.
Well, Marshall has the hands team out in anticipation of an onside kick. I just don't think that's happening. And as a result, the poor receiver of the kick is not going to have guys that normally block in front of him. I mean, he is going to kick it deep.
He does. Thomas Maxwell. And Maxwell is out to the 28-yard line. Our National Car Rental players of the game. We start with Dwayne Harris, the Toledo tailback, the junior. 106 yards. And Randy Moss. Big second half. All 3 touchdowns coming after halftime.
200 all-purpose yards. Got a couple of punt returns.
Don't forget the records, and we talked about his records, but Chad Pennington with 3 touchdown throws. 39 of them now to lead the nation. He's 2 ahead of Tim Couch.
Just staggering to think about the 25 touchdown catches. That's 2 a game.
There goes the ball on the floor again as Mark Zeban trying to get it to Low Turner. They did not hook up on their last exchange.
My batting average is 0 for 2. You can see that he did get a little playing time, 11 for 21. Snaps there. Thought it was an easy handoff. Guess not. You know what? This is, well, that's right. It'll be the bowl game. But I'm thinking in front of the home folks, why does he just run it? Run an option here. Tuck it under his arm. A little rushing stat. What do you think?
Why don't you run down and get the headphones on? And you tell Bob Pruitt that. A misfire by the Marshall offensive line.
Oh, the cadence is different.
Have a dead ball. False start on the offense. The 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Mark Zeban has more of a legato cadence, whereas Pennington more of a staccato. So it can be confusing to the offensive line.
That's the second opera reference you've dropped on us today. The Gatorade, I don't know if it's thawed right now. That could be painful to Bob Pruitt.
Big block comes out, knocks him out.
They've got some of West Virginia's finest right now lining up to protect the goalpost. And Marshall will keep it on the ground, keep the clock running.
Oh, here it comes.
It's thawed. Oh, man.
Oh, just what a surprise. It was ice.
That may have warmed him up the way.
He doesn't seem too upset about it.
No. A great year for Bob Pruitt and his staff.
I'm thinking, and again, I could be wrong. Oh, dangerous. I'm thinking that he might take just as much satisfaction in being 10-2 at this level as he did last year being 15-0.
Absolutely. And he'll get another chance to prove themselves against the big boys. They did on the road to West Virginia, had a 4th-quarter lead and lost there. Went through the MAC, lost just 1 game. And Bob Pruitt and the Thundering Herd will go to 10-2, and a MAC championship trophy will reside in the football offices. And the Thundering Herd going to empty the bench, give everybody a chance to play now.
Or they could be punished. You're right.
I'm wrong.
Well, you know what? I was thinking the same thing.
I know. I was
everybody
watching
piled out.
Everyone, yeah. Bob said, hey, everybody out there. Flag down.
Well, they did have some new people because he went in motion.
Loose ball. This should be fun.
They'll come back.
Procedure. They'll have to do it again. 34-14. Marshall about to win this one. Chad Pennington.
Red illegal formation on the kicking team. That penalty's declined. First down.
So 12 seconds left of this MAC championship game. Bob Pruitt in his 2nd year. The opponent obviously not named yet for the Motor City Bowl.
Well, how do you, if it was Notre Dame, you've seen Iowa too as well. How do they stack up?
Iowa is a fun team to watch, and I think an underachieving team this year with Tim Dwight and Tavian Banks. They really missed Matt Sherman, their quarterback, when he went down. I think that not enough people talked about that. And right now, and right now we've got the Marshall faithful into the end zone, and they may as well just call this thing. Bob Pruitt thinks so. He's headed across the sideline. They'll call this football game, and Marshall will walk away with a MAC championship, a 34-14 win over the Toledo Rockets. 34-14, the final score coming up next. NHL Tonight. For Todd Christensen and Chris Marlowe, I'm Rich Waltz. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Coming up on